Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. What's good? Here we at it again. Catchweight episode 721. For everybody that's dropping through, appreciate it. If you in the building, hit the thumbs up button. Show some love to World Combat Sports, aka WCS. This is Catchweight Edition 721 Boxing Talk. That's what it's about, y'all. And we're going to get right into it because you know what we got. We got a gift from the boxing gods. The Pantheon has spoken. The Pantheon has spoken, people. We have a fight card coming from PBC with it's nothing short of from the heavens above. Because we've been dreaming since the pandemic of having a fight card such as this. Now, I'm not saying Top Rank did a bad job by putting on some fight cards. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? We seen some pretty decent bouts, hit the stage. The only question I have for the PBC, though, is what the undercard going to look like. What that UC looking like, Shouty. That's all I'm saying. What that UC looking like. That's all I want to know right now. There you look, there's the thumbnail for everybody who wanted to check it out. That's the upcoming calendar for the second semester of the year. Showtime is coming back. And it has some heavy hitters on there. It's according to how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? I expect a little bit better from David Benavidez. You feel me? It's good to see Erickson Lubin back in there again. But of course, I'm always happy to see Sergey Lipinets. He's at 147 now, so I'm really looking forward to him stepping there with somebody that I can say, all right, let me, bob my head a little bit, because I think Sergey Lipinets is a tough fighter, man. I'm just waiting for him to step in there with a top tier opponent at 147. But the bangers. Ooh, the Charlo brothers are back on the same card again, people. The Charlo brothers are back on the same card once again. At 160, Jamal Charlo is facing Sergey Deryanchenko, y'all. Next to him is his brother, twin, Jamel Charlo, 154. For the unified chips, facing Jason Rosario. And of course, people, this is going to be my main topic of discussion. I'm going to get the Tank and Leo Santa Cruz. I am. But I got to talk about them Charlo brothers for real, because it's a lot that's riding on the Lions only. It's a lot that's depending on Charlo brothers to show up and show out. It's a lot. More than you know. H Money, Mr. The Zone. Hey, bro, if you want to, stop on here, H Money, and talk about, one of the fighters that we was debating about, your boy Jason Rosario stepping in there with Jamel Charlo. It's a different story than J-Rock, Shouty. I'm just letting you know. It's a different story for your boy Jason Rosario now. Because I'm gonna tell you, it don't look pretty, bro. It don't look pretty, bro. This is what it is, people. October 24th, you have Tank Davis, the man himself, 3-time world champion, stepping in there with Leo Santa Cruz. Man, it's going to be PPV once again for Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it ain't that new to him. But the issue that I have wholeheartedly is those Charlo brothers. The last time we seen them accompany one another on the same card, and a good card it was. The main focal point was Jamel Charlo in there against Tony Harrison. I mean, everything that you can imagine from the press conference leading up to the fight was all that you wanted. You know, from Jamel Charlo saying Tony Harrison was faking the ankle injury to freaking Tony Harrison. Just man, he was just going in on Jamel Charlo. He was like, damn. I wonder. I see now why your big brother. Now he said, I bet your brother Jamal used to whoop your ass growing up. I mean, he said some classic shit. I'm telling you, that presser with Tony Harrison ranks up there in the top three of all time pressers. But now they back on the same card. And listen, both of their titles are on the line, y'all. Both of their titles are on the line. We had a 160-pound Jamal Charlo with a big step up fight against Sergey Derevyanchenko. He ain't no slouch. He's not a slouch. Hey, shout out to H Money, Mr. Zone in the building. Y'all be sure to check out his channel, subscribe to it. D Hodges, what's good, man? Appreciate you for stopping through once again. Stay Ready Boxing TV. What's good, family? You know what it is. Appreciate everyone for stopping through. So PBC waits to, July to drop a fight card out, which I really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't care, but it was about time that they finally make it to the surface and give us a little hint that they ain't drowned. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for them to swim to the surface to let me know that they were still on the lifesaver. You know, they still had some oxygen in the game of boxing. And that's what we got. We got a pretty healthy lineup that's due. And I know we kicking it off with Stephen Fuller, but you got to understand he undefeated. He going in there against, I mentioned this on my other live. He's going in there against Angelo Leo. I told you on my other live. That's going to be a good fight. Both of them undefeated. Both of those guys undefeated. But the main two fights that's going to be PPV is Jamal and Jamel Charlo, September, and then Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. Michael Batts, what's good, man? Salute, thanks for dropping in. He said, I'm with Tank. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Leo Santa Cruz isn't a knockout artist. He went the distance with Abner Mares twice. Abner Mares was at one point in time scheduled to fight Tank. That would have kind of gave Leo Santa Cruz some data if he was planning on this fight in the future. But the fight never matured because Abner Mares had a scratch cornea. I believe he injured his eye. So the fight never materialized again. So now you have Leo Santa Cruz stepping in there at 130 with Gervonta Davis. But my main point today is them Charlo brothers. Because look, this is a big fucking deal, y'all. Because if both of them live and defend their titles, especially Jamel, if he become unified champion, man, y'all better hold the fuck on in Texas. If you thought the Charlo brothers was motherfucking brash, full of bravado, egotistical, you don't want both of them to walk up out of there right now with wins on their record coming out this fight card. You ain't gonna be able to tell them shit. You already can't tell them shit now. Let me start with Jamel Charlo, how important this fight is. And hey, H Money, you want to jump on here? Let me know, bro. I would appreciate it if you want to do some co-commentary. But check this out. Jamel Charlo has been yearning to make a name for himself at 154 with the right opponent. Hands down, period. So if you look back on the videos, even the videos I was saying about the Charlos, when he was acting a complete fool against Jarrett Hurd, which I consider a pretty cool, low-key type of dude, right? He was just going in on Jarrett Hurd when he was unified champion. Like he was disrespecting this dude in front of his family, wherever he saw him in public, he didn't fucking care. So Jarrett Hurd and Charlo never matured. So therefore, J-Rock get the opportunity to step in there with Jarrett Hurd, and he gets the job done. I mean, he go in there and looked absolutely phenomenal. I mean, J-Rock, look, he was shining so bright that night that you could say he was a diamond. Like when I saw J-Rock box Jerry Hurd, I said nobody can beat him in the junior middleweight. Cause I ain't never seen Charlo box like J-Rock. I say, man, nobody can beat this cat the way he looks right now. Nobody in the junior middleweight division. Nobody. No one can beat J-Rock. And then J-Rock gave the speech, don't count a fighter off because he got one loss. I felt everything he was talking about. I did, man. And then he stepped in there with Jason Rosario early this year. And let me back up just a little bit. I got to give a salute to J-Rock because I called him outside the Barclays. And he was a cool dude. I didn't appreciate him walking off while I had the interview and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I waited forever there, J-Rock. And people was pulling him, left or right, trying to get a picture with him. Of course, it was a big fucking deal for him being a unified champion. So I get it, bro. I ain't being petty about that shit. But I had one shot, one kill, and I wasn't even to complete the mission. I got a partial with J-Rock. I got a partial out there. So I had to go over next door where I seen Gilla the Kid, Swaggy P, what's his name? DeAndre Jackson. I think that's his name. And plenty of other people over there. So I'm out there, and Zab Judah. Shout out to Zab Judah. No matter what anybody say, always a classy dude, man. OG in the game. Always give me an interview when I ask for it. So salute to Zab Judah. But all of them was in the group talking. So I'm paying attention to J-Rock. I wasn't ever to return over there because so many people had him, right? So he goes in there. He gives a long speech after defeating Jerry Hurd, talking about don't cast a fighter out. We still good. We still have value to the sport. And I'm believing him. I'm saying, I believe you, J-Rock. Salute, bro. I believe you. Keep doing what you fucking doing, homie. Then he stepped in there with Jason Rosario. And then, I'm like, Jason Rosario, he was stopped by Nate the Great. Nathaniel Gallimore, salute to you. And I was like, the way I seen J-Rock box Jerry Hurd, Jason ain't gonna be able to touch him tonight. Fuck anything you heard. Jason ain't gonna be able to touch him. And then as the fight started, I'm looking in the first round, and I'm saying to myself, something ain't right with J-Rock. Like, we getting Julian Williams tonight. We're not getting J-Rock. Let me let J Money on here. Hey, hold up for a second, H Money. Hold up for a second. So I say we ain't getting J-Rock on here. We got Julian Williams. So Jason Rosario goes in there and put on a show. And he goddamn get the stoppage via knockout. And I'm saying, what happened to the speech with Jerry Hurd? Like, what was going? Was he injured in fight camp? What the fuck is going on? I was disappointed, y'all. I was disappointed because boxing was like, they was getting behind J-Rock. They were supporting him. They believed in everything he stood for. He was the unified champion. And then he's gone with Jason Rosario knockout. What's good, H Money?
World Combat Sports, what's going on?
Chilling, man. Hey, for those of you that's tuned in, this is the one and only H Money, Mr. The Zone, man. And if y'all haven't subscribed to his channel, go subscribe to the man's channel right now, man. And check out the interview he did with Charles Conwell, Soul City Boxing. It was fire, man. So go check it out and share the content. So I know H Money, me and you at one point in time, who was going back and forth about J-Rock and Jason Rosario. Now that you see the fight card, bro, you see the fight card. Is Jason Rosario ready for Charlo? Don't take too long. Don't take too long to answer that.
That's a good question. It's a good question. Rosario is just ain't proven like that. Like, sure, he beat Julian Williams, but it's like You know what I mean? That's one win. He got one win. He won by knockout. Man, to be honest, there's no telling, man. 154 is up and down. You don't know what to expect at 154 pounds.
Bro, what the hell are you talking about, H Money? What the? I'm looking for you to build up your boy Jason Rosario, and you left him out there on the railroad tracks, dog, with the train coming.
Man, he's not just proven like that. You know, he
No,
has been.
You was hyping him up. You was bigging him up, man. When he knocked out J Rock, though.
Yeah, that's true. He knocked out J Rock, but you know what I mean. J Rock, he's a good fighter. He's solid. You know, he's been knocked out before, so it's not like he did something we never seen before. We seen J Rock get knocked out by Jamal Charlo, so it was a good win. But I'm not gonna say Rosario is a boogeyman or Rosario is this and that. I only seen him fight one time, so I can't just.
Hey, of course you ain't gonna say that shit now. He's stepping in there with Jamal Charlo.
Charlo just ain't built like that though. Charlo ain't just cut like that. Charlo a solid fighter, but Charlo ain't just no. Charlo isn't a great fighter like that. Charlo is a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter, my brother.
So who you got on this fight, man? Now that you switching lanes on me with no stern wheel, you just pedaling in the shit, you know, fanny shifting. Who you got on this fight, man? Rosario or Charlo?
I got to go with the safe pick. I'm going to go with Charlo in this one. I think Charlo is more proven.
Damn.
I ain't going to say nothing silly, man. I ain't going to come over here and just start capping.
Expecting that energy that you had the other night, bro. I was expecting the H Money goddamn energy when you was up there bigging up Rosario, dog, telling him, hey, he went up there and he knocked the fuck out of J Rock. And, you know, it was much better when Jamal knocked out J Rock because it was the unified titles on deck and everything else.
It was
like,
okay.
Doctor's appointment. I really want to go with the safe pick because therefore I can maintain my integrity on my channel. And I won't have to sit up here and debate with people about why I was bigging up Rosario for stopping J Rock. But now he's facing Jamal Charlo. I don't think he has what it takes to go in there and get that victory.
Nah, man, he doesn't have what it takes to get that victory. Just being real, you know what I mean? Charlo has problems with boxers, people with a great jab, movers, fighters with great footwork. You know what I mean? That's who he has problems with. Rosario is a come-forward fighter. So, you know what I mean? For sure, Rosario's victory was better than Jamal Charlo's. When Jamal Charlo knocked out Julian Williams wasn't a champion. Who did Julian Williams beat around that time? World Combat Sports. To make that such a great victory for Charlo. Who was Julian Williams at that time?
Charlo.
Who did he beat?
Listen, Charlo, we're talking about Rosario, Williams, Charlo. That Jamal Charlo, where he knocked out J Rock, that's over. I'm really trying to get the energy that was going on with Jason Rosario having a superb knockout of J Rock. But now Rosario gets a step-up fight. It is a step-up fight, bro. It's a step-up fight for him to go in there and shock boxing. Really, if he goes in there and defeat Jamal Charlo, it is an upset.
Well, to be honest, you know what I mean? Styles makes fights. Julian Williams have problems with pressure fighters. You know what I mean? Julian Williams has a questionable chin. He's been knocked out twice. Charlo has problems with slick boxers like Austin Trout and Tony Harrison. You know what I mean? So Styles makes fights, bro. Styles makes fights.
I feel you. And I want to give a big salute to Andrew Stokes promotion in the building, man. Andrew Stokes out of Columbia, South Carolina, man. I've been on many of his cards. Man, give a salute to Andrew Stokes, man. Look forward to seeing you back on the grind and putting together some fight cards out there, my brother. I mean, at one time he was doing Muay Thai and boxing. The last card was absolutely fire. I think it was like 15. He had 15 fights on the card. So appreciate you you stopping through there, Andrew. Chain TC in the building. Everett, what's good? Supreme said Jamel. Yeah, but you know, I'm just looking at this fight To be honest with you there, H, I just think Jason might be cashing out, bro.
You might as well. He might as well. God damn it! During this pandemic, he might as well get
he
what he
might
can.
be cashing out, bro. I'm gonna be absolutely 100, man. I think Jason Rosario is cashing out, man, because this fight came out of nowhere. Initially, Rosario wanted nothing to do with Charlo. Nothing to do with Charlo. So somehow Julian Williams is not ready, or whatever's going on. I know he's heavy on Twitter, but he's not ready to step back in for that rematch. So therefore, Al Heyman's been working his magic behind the scene, and we get Charlo and Rosario. I don't think Rosario is ready for this fight. Even after him coming in there, defeating J-Rock, I was never quite sold on Rosario when he defeated J-Rock. And like you said, you made a solid point, H. Okay, Jamal Charlo was able to knock out J-Rock, but that was only one knockout. But then Jason Rosario comes in here and knocks out him in similar fashion. You know, he took a brutal uppercut and then finished with punches. He's done. But when he's stepping in there with the Jamel Charlo, who faced Tony Harrison, who goddamn looked mean, like he was on the hunt. He was still headhunting a little bit, but he looked strong. His cardio was on point, and he stayed the course until he got the knockout in 11. I don't know, man. I don't know if Jason Rosario is ready for that heat.
Well, to be honest with you, World Combat Sports, Charlo was losing that fight until he knocked out Tony Harrison. Yeah, I mean, Tony Harrison was winning that fight. He was outboxing him, and Charlo needed a knockout to win. He needed a knockout to win.
Yeah, but you can say, you know, him getting a knockout in the second. I mean, a knockdown in the second, and then whatever rounds the judges gave him in between that. I agree with that. I don't disagree that Tony Harrison was outboxing Jamel Charlo, but the end game, H Money, is what? The end game to every boxing match is what? To get the victory.
Yeah, get the W.
So that's what he did. He got the stoppage, bro. So you got to salute him for getting the stoppage, Jamel Charlo.
Yeah, he got the stoppage for sure. You know what I mean? He needed to get that stoppage to win. Even though he had that knockdown in the second round, Tony Harrison was out fighting him. Tony Harrison was out landing him. Tony Harrison was winning that fight. Charlo, he came up big and got the knockout, but I seen a lot of flaws in his game. Headhunting, like you was said, just looking for the big punch. Yeah, man, Charlo is a good fighter. He's good. He's not a great fighter. You know what I mean? Even if Rosario did beat him, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Rosario could beat him. You know what I mean? Charlo, I think he's a solid fighter, but I think he's overrated to me, to be honest. He's overrated. You know what I mean?
I would be surprised if Rosario beat Charlo, because earlier you said Rosario isn't proven yet. You know what I'm saying? He really hasn't been, he really hasn't had the opposition, and he isn't proven yet. So you have to be surprised if he goes in there and defeat.
Well, he is a champion. He did knock out Julian Williams. I said, like, he had one good win. That's what I was saying. He had one good win. You know what I mean? Charlo is more proven. That's what I said. Charlo has been in there with better opposition, so I'm going to go with the safe pick. But you know what? Rosario did knock out Julian Williams. Julian Williams, who beat Jarrett Hurd. Jarrett Hurd, who was considered to be the best super welterweight at that time. You know what I mean? So you just got to give credit when credit.
The hype job, right? The hype job. You said.
I mean, they said he was top 10 pound for pound, and Lara was beating the fuck out of him for most of that fight until he got that knockdown. So I mean, that's
the same thing you can say about Jamel Charlo and Tony Harrison. They got the knockout in the same. They got the knockdown in the same round, but Jamel Charlo, he didn't have to continue. But Jarrett Hurd,
he knocked him out though.
Look, Jarrett Hurd. Erislandy Lara got up and continued the fight.
Well, I'm saying Charlo knocked out Tony Harrison in the 11th. Jarrett Hurd got a knockdown in the 12th. So it is a difference. Lara was beating the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? You seen his face after the end of the fight. Dude's face was swollen. He was looking like Martin after he got in the fight with Thomas Hearns, bro.
Who was looking like that?
Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd after he fought Lara, bro. Dude face was knotted up, man. He was looking like Martin after he got in there with Thomas Hearns, man. But this is what I want to say real quick. When Julian Williams beat up Jared Hurd, you know what I'm saying? He pretty much used that Lara blueprint. It was his hand speed. I mean, Jared Hurd looked like shit in his last fight. So Jared Hurd looked like a shot fighter to me, man. He looks shot, bro. It looked like, you know what I mean, he might be punch drunk already, man. If you know what I mean, I hope he's not, but he took a lot of damage in that fight against Lara, and he took a lot of punishment against Jared Hurd, bro. One thing about against Julian Williams, he took a lot of punishment against Julian Williams. One thing about Jared Hurd, bro, he has no head movement and he gets hit way too much. He's not gonna last in the sport for too long, bro, if he keeps getting hit like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I just got to give Rosario his credit, though, for beating Julian Williams. He currently got about 3 belts right now. So he needs some credit for that. You know what I mean? He got to get some credit for that. Don't you think so?
I never said, bro, every time you switch lanes back and forth, man.
Now, I'm not switching lanes. I just was asking a question. You know what I mean?
Over the highway, man. 1 minute you with traffic and the next minute you in oncoming traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like Jason Rosario, in your words, like be the J-Rock who be the hyped up Jared Hurd. So people were saying he was top 10 pound for pound. So that's what I'm saying. He was a hype job. But check this out, H Money. You have to stand your square, man, when it comes down to if Jason Rosario goes in here and defeat Jermell Charlo, you have to be shocked because for one, you're saying that Jason Rosario, and I'm saying the same thing, he isn't ready for this step-up fight to go in there against Jermell Charlo, especially how Jermell looked against Tony Harrison, right? So you have to have some type of shock value if Rosario goes in there and defeat and becomes the pick up that WBC belt. You know what I'm saying? The only one remaining would be Canelo, and you're not going to be shocked? I would.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I mean? I see what's the name? Lumbros. He says, don't forget, Hurd almost lost to Lara. That's exactly what I'm saying. Charlo already got a loss to Tony Harrison. Charlo can be beat. So why wouldn't I be surprised if he got beat again? You get beat once, you can get beat twice. So I just said Charlo's not a great fighter.
Good recovery, H. Good recovery. Thanks to Lumbros. Good recovery, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to, keep you buckled in and flowing with traffic. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do, because if you hyped up, I mean, I think we debated like about 30 minutes and you was hyping up Jason Rosario defeating Julian Williams. And you said
I wasn't hyping it up. Wait. I wasn't hyping it up. All I said, his victory over Julian Williams was better than Jermall Charlo's, because Julian Williams was a champion at the time. He just beat the so-called best fighter at 154 pounds. So
and then in return, H, I said, well, how can it be better if J-Rock has the belts and he beat up a hype job, in your words, of Jared Hurd?
Jared Hurd was the champion, and people had him top 10 pound for pound. I didn't have him top 10 pound for pound. That's what other people online, you got on fucking ESPN pound for pound list. That's what they were saying. I never said that shit.
I know you didn't say it, but man, you was goddamn on the bandwagon of Jason Rosario that night.
I wasn't on no bandwagon.
You was saddled up and shit, riding the night like it was Django. Goddamn it!
I never said that. All I said was Jason Rosario had a better win against Julian Williams than Jermall Charlo, which is true. I mean, I don't know how you can dispute that.
I was speaking more so of the knockout itself. It would be crazy for me to sit up here and do rudimentary mathematics is to equate 3 belts to none when Jermall Charlo knocked out Julian Williams. That wasn't something I was debating. I was debating the knockout itself. I just thought the knockout Jermall Charlo gave Julian Williams was better than Jason Rosario. I wasn't talking about the overlay, including 3 titles. That'd be crazy to sit up here and value that. I'm talking about the knockout itself. I thought Jermall Charlo did a better job than Jason Rosario.
Well, Charlo landed an uppercut, knocked him down. He got back up, and it
It's
was a
what he did. He
TKO.
just didn't land the uppercut,
It, it was
brother.
a
He
TKO.
freaking parried. He parried the right hand that J Rock sent. He parried the right hand, and then he came up the middle with the uppercut. It wasn't just the uppercut, man.
Well, all I'm saying is it was a TKO because Julian Williams got back up after he landed the uppercut. He got up. So it wasn't a one-punch knockout. He flatlined him. He knocked him down. He got back up. You know what I mean? Either way, he got stopped by both fighters. You know what I mean? I'm not here to debate whose knockout was better. I just know who had the better win, and that was Jason Rosario. You know what I'm saying?
I need the H money that's woke. I need the other H money energy.
Nah, man, I was at court all morning, man. I've been at court all morning, you know, dealing with these laws and shit. So, you know what I mean? I just got back in. You know what I mean?
Say less, bro. It's all good. All you need to know.
Yeah, I know you want me to turn up. I ain't all the way turned because I had to get up early, go to court on that bullshit, man. You know what I mean?
I got you. Hey, we can keep it moving, man. Hey, what about his brother Jamal Charlo and Sergey Darianchenko, man? I think it's a damn good fight for Jamal Charlo, all right, which is, you know, touted as the stronger brother out of the twin grouping. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that Sergey Darianchenko is getting a third try. He had 2 times at the IBF championship. He got robbed against Gennady Golovkin. Now Sergey gets the opportunity next door for the WBC title and face Jamal Charlo, man. What's your take on that, H?
I like that fight, man. I think this will be Charlo's biggest test. You know what I mean? Since he's been at middleweight, Jamal Charlo has been fighting a whole bunch of Uber drivers. Just being real. At middleweight, he's been fighting Brandon. He's been fighting a whole bunch of cab drivers.
There you go, y'all.
You know what I mean? I'm just being real. Jamal Charlo, his last fight was against Dennis Hogan, who moved up from 154. His fight before that was Brandon Adams, another guy who came up for 154. Come on, man. It's like,
that was Karabov.
Yeah, Korobov, who was 35, and then he fought a fucking Centennial. He was fighting a whole bunch of Uber drivers. Charlo has not fought one top 10 middleweight since he's been in the division. And how the hell is Charlo a middleweight champion? Who did he beat to be a champion? You haven't even beat nobody in the top 10. So I just got to say this. Shout outs to Charlo for finally stepping up in competition. You know what I mean? This is a good fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, man. I'm going to go split decision Charlo, but I think it's a close fight, man. Sergey Derevyanchenko can fight. We seen him in there with Triple G. He gave Triple G hell. You know what I mean? He gave Daniel Jacobs a tough fight. You know what I mean? He got a lot of skills, man. His nickname is the Technician. Man, it's a close fight, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just like I said, I'm gonna go with Charlo, split decision. What about you?
Hey, what's going on? Sporting Advantage. Salute to you, bro. JC in the building. Salute. JC say, let's go. Charlo in trouble. Sporting Advantage say Charlo deserved big props after this win. According to which one you talking about? Because I haven't even started to talk about Jamal Charlo and Darianchenko. I don't want to hear he sucked. Young Lions announced together, boxing is back, baby. Okay, check this out. I think Sergey Darianchenko, man, has a window in there if he boxed correctly to beat Jamal Charlo. He does. He can do it. I'm not just gonna sit up here because he's a black fighter. That's not the way I report. I think I never really rocked all the way hard with the Charlos. When they both fought Austin Trout, when Jamel fought him last time, I was like, these motherfuckers headhunters. What happened to all the boxing? And even when he started off against Tony Harrison, guess what? He was headhunting. And then I guess Derrick James was like telling him, bruh, slow the fuck down. Relax. You trying to go ahead and knock this motherfucker out? It's boxing. So now Jamal Charlo goes in there against Darianchenko, who absolutely beat Gennady Golovkin, who was robbed, just so they can set up the trilogy with Canelo. I think he has a big time window to defeat Jamal Charlo. If Charlo goes in there trying to get the knockout, trying to hype everybody up, trying to say, okay, lines only, he might find himself in trouble. I like Dariushchenko. He can box. He can stay in there and fight. I like the energy and the matchup that he gives Charlo. And I think it's going to be a solid ass matchup on that card, if anything. Look, I think this is going to be much better than Jermell Charlo and Jason Rosario, hands down.
For real. Yo, yeah, that's a good fight. It's a good fight. You know what I mean? So who you favor? Who would you put your money on in this one if you had to? If you have to make a pick.
Between Maul and Chinko?
Yep.
Like I said before, I would have to put my money on Chinko, man.
That's good. That's good. That's
I would have
solid.
to put my money on Chinko because this is a guy who had 2 IBF shots, right? And he showed up. He showed up against Daniel Jacobs. He showed up against Gennady Golovkin, who everybody was saying was this machine, and he's been in there twice with Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, Dariushchenko beat him. Now I compare that to, like we talked about earlier, who has Jamal Charlo been in there with the caliber Canelo Alvarez? Who? Nobody. So therefore, I take the bout that Dariushchenko had with Gennady Golovkin, and I say to myself, he beat Gennady, who lost to Canelo Alvarez or won against Canelo Alvarez, depending on which fight you watch. But I'll put my money on Chinko, man.
For sure. Shout outs to everything boxing and sports with the super chat. Appreciate it, my man.
Shout out Keon, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow that man's channel, man. Everything boxing and sports in the building. Make sure you check him out, man. Whenever he's on, subscribe to the channel, man. Salute. Thanks for the donation, my brother. Appreciate that. Lumbro said, well, JC, let me go back up.
JC goes in.
Chinko moves a lot. Charlo gonna have issues with that. And I agree with that, man. When Charlo get into their head hunting, they love to get zoned out and try to knock a motherfucker out. Lumbro said, I missed the whole convo, but I think the 154 division is totally open. And I think Lara and Charlo should be getting it along with Castano, and who slid out without a serious test was Hammy McGill. You ain't never lied on Hammy McGill. I don't know why people was hyping this cat up, but he got his title and slid the fuck out, man. But good point. Jamal Charlo needs a big fight to prove he earned that WBC strap. This would be it. This right here would be it. Damn good point there, Lumbros, that he need this fight right here because he was elevated to super champion once Canelo Alvarez became franchise champion. Sporting Advantage said at JC, people thought Triple G was a draw or maybe even robbed. See, that's what I'm talking about. Some people thought Triple G won the first one, but I definitely didn't think he won the second one. I see where you get that pick. Dariushchenko is better than Karbov, who gave him a test. Exactly. Sporting Events, damn, everyone's picking Chinko. Who you got, man? Did you say already who you got there, H?
Yeah, I got Charlo.
Right?
I got Charlo by split decision. So everybody's not going for Dariushchenko. Everybody, you know what I mean? It's like it's a split fight, man. It could be a 50-50 fight. But I just want to say this. If Charlo fighting Dariushchenko, bro, it's a good fight, but it's not the fight that we all wanted to see. It's not like this is the super fight that we wanted to see. The fight that the people really wanted to see was Jamal Charlo versus Demetrius Andrade in a unification bout, a battle of undefeateds. You know what I mean? And we ain't gonna sit. If Canelo would have fought Dariushchenko, we would not be sitting over here acting like this is the biggest fight. People will be criticizing Canelo for fighting Dariushchenko. So just because Charlo is fighting Sergey Dariushchenko, I'm not gonna sit here and just give Charlo credit. Dariushchenko, I mean, he's been in some big fights, but he hasn't won them though. Like you said, winning is the name of the game. Did he win those big fights against Daniel Jacobs and Triple G? No, he didn't. You know what I mean?
AH, all that sounds good over auto tunes. But check this out. You ready?
Yes, sir. I was born ready.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. You saying that he should face Demetrius Andrade, but Demetrius haven't been in there with Daniel Jacobs or Triple G caliber opponents. This is the same dude who wore a pirate outfit, set the brothers back for goddamn at least 5 to 10 years. His last two fights was absolutely sanitation department, period. So therefore,
what does the pirate outfit got to do with boxing?
Daniel Jacobs and you take the Triple G, who has Demetrius Andrade been in there with the caliber of those opponents in his last 5 fights? Who?
Demetrius Andrade's been calling out Triple G. Canelo left the middleweight division, avoided an undisputed match to duck Demetrius Andrade. Same thing with Triple G, who's been ducking Andrade. You know what I mean? Andrade got in the ring after that Derevyanchenko fight, called out Triple G to the world. You know what I mean? So come on, man. Demetrius Andrade's getting ducked. He's a 3-time world champion. Sergey Derevyanchenko isn't a 3-time world champion. Sergey Derevyanchenko, you know what I mean, isn't undefeated. Sergey Derevyanchenko.
About recent opponents, though, leading up to the culminating moment to step in here with Jamal Charlo, who in his opposition, his resume, has Demetrius Andrade fought on the level of Daniel Jacobs and Gennady Golovkin. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know about championships, none of that shit. I want to know about that in particular for this fight.
Okay, we know Demetrius Andrade has been getting avoided. He can't force these people to get in the ring with him. So my question to you is, Sergey Derevyanchenko, he's been in the ring with these guys. Has he won those fights?
Who do you believe?
No, please answer the question. Has he won those fights?
One. He's 50-50. He's 50-50.
Who?
He lost to Daniel Jacobs legitimately, and he won against Gennady Golovkin, but lost.
He lost. If you look on BoxRec, he got a loss.
Come on, Ace. They're trying to build up that Triple G and Canelo Alvarez.
I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't have nothing to do with that. You told us that winning is the name of the game. That's what you told me.
I said ultimately at the end of the boxing match, the end game is to get the win. What does that have to do with opposition right now? I want to know the opposition Demetrius Andrade has faced on the caliber of Daniel Jacobs and Gennady Golovkin, bro.
Well, what Demetrius Andrade brings to the table is much better than Sergey Derevyanchenko, a three-time world champion in 2 different weight classes, 28 wins, 17 knockouts, who's undefeated. This is a unification bout. More people will go and buy Andrade versus Charlo, who been having beef. Andrade's been going. Wait.
What source is that?
Andrade's been going to the press conferences,
what
calling out Jamal Charlo. Wait. Eddie Hearn offered $7 million to Charlo to fight him.
Here we got the DAZN.
Eddie Hearn offered $7 million to Charlo to fight Demetrius Andrade, and Charlo ducked him. Charlo clearly has been ducking Demetrius Andrade for years, so we ain't gonna let him off the hook.
Okay, H, I can't debate. Look, I won't debate with you on that in particular. You know why? Because I do feel that there have been fights out there. Now, regardless of you supporting the zone or not, I agree with you in that perspective, only because I couldn't understand why Charlo has not fought Demetrius Andrade. I don't fucking understand why. Before the Derevyanchenko fight, I don't know, because they had history. They had beef. They don't like each other, and they never fucking fought. So when you come to that narrative right there, we cross this bridge. Okay, cool. It's no toll to be paid. I'm not going to debate with that shit, because Charlo never reached over, or Demetrius Andrade, they never came to a culminating moment where they can step in the ring together. You know, whoever's responsible for whatever the reason being. All I'm saying is man, in his last 2 fights.
Right. My question to you is why, though? Because Eddie Hearn has been making offers to Charlo to fight Demetrius Andrade. Charlo hasn't been making no offers to fight Demetrius Andrade. It's clearly that
we don't know specifically about paperwork and numbers.
Bro, Eddie Hearn showed the offer on camera. He revealed the offer. Eddie Hearn was just on FaceTime with Charlo, saying, Charlo, like, who you got for me? Andrade. I got Andrade. Charlo never keep that same energy. Wait. Demetrius Andrade pulled up on Charlo at his press conference after his Julian Williams fight, called him out in front of everybody. It's on camera. This motherfucker Charlo talking about, oh, I need to go talk to my matchmakers. I'm not a matchmaker, but when it's time to fight Canelo, I'm my own promoter. This man clearly ducking. Andrade pulled up on him in a fucking hallway. Like, when we gonna make that happen? Oh, we ain't gonna fight him. You know what I'm saying? He broke.
When he was standing behind the corner. Come on, bro.
He's still straight ducking.
Pulled up on Charlo in the hallway, bro.
He's a ducker, bro. Charlo is a ducker who ain't beat nobody at middleweight, been fighting Uber drivers, been ducking Demetrius Andrade for years. And another thing, you said a pirate outfit. What does that got to do with boxing? You know what I mean? We're talking about boxing. We're talking about a 3-time world champion, a slick southpaw that will give Charlo a boxing lesson. And Charlo is avoiding the fight. $7 million.
Hey, it sounds all good, but I'm telling you, Demetrius Andrade and his outfit has a lot to do with who he is as a person. All I said was the outfit. The outfit is irrelevant. The point is, you did make some solid points. And once again, I'm not going to sit up here and debate about numbers, especially coming from Eddie Hearns, because we all know Eddie Hearns, he can be a liar at some point, period. Just because a promoter, just because somebody like Eddie Hearns say, oh, I offer him $7 million, doesn't mean he offered him $7 million. This is the same guy who sat up there and said, we coming to NYC for Deontay Wilder to sign the contract. And the name that was on the contract after Anthony Joshua pretended to sign it was who? Eddie Hearns. So you really can't sit up here and hold value to the word that Eddie Hearns speaks out his lips, because a lot of it is false and fabricated. I'm not saying all of it. I'm saying a lot of it. Now, as far as Demetrius Andrade, last 2 opponents, bro, comparable to Darian Chinko stepping in there with Daniel Jacobs and Gennady Golovkin, Darian Chinko is the one I would like to see.
Oh my God, you tripping. You tripping. You talk about a unification about 2 undefeated fighters, 2 undefeated champions, and you would rather see Darian Chinko, who lost those 2 fights you're talking about? The
same thing. Okay, who has Demetrius Andrade faced in his division right now that gives you that warm and fuzzy and make your eyebrows stand up and shit and say, oh man, I want to see Demetrius Andrade get back in there again? Who has it been? Just like you said about Charlo, who has Demetrius Andrade been in there with?
Demetrius Andrade has fought better middleweights than Charlo. That's for damn sure.
The names, bro. The salutation.
He fought Sulecki, who's a top 10 middleweight. Who is Charlo fight?
Sulecki? Oh my God.
Sulecki's the top 10 middleweight. Who did Charlo fight? Answer who Charlo fought.
Well, I'm not going there. I'm not even wasting my option.
Exactly, because he ain't fought nobody, so you can't go there.
Demetrius Andrade is a boring ass fighter, bro.
They said Floyd Mayweather was a boring fighter.
But you can't compare Demetrius Andrade to Floyd Mayweather. Don't you dare do that bullshit, bro.
He's a slick boxer. With
somebody call for a temperature check over there.
Hey, he's a slick boxer. He's undefeated, a 3-time world champion. Just say you don't want Charlo to fight Andrade because Andrade gonna beat the fuck out of him. Yeah, I mean, and we can bet that too.
Like I told you before, I don't know if you was listening or not, but it's not for me to advocate for Charlo like that. If it's straight up boxing that I respect, okay, I can advocate on that. But I'm talking about, I agree. I told you I agree in that perspective that Charlo wasn't able to get the bout with Andrade. I get it. But also boxing is an entertainment too, with the business first. Boxing is putting butts in the seats. And up to this point, Charlo and Andrade haven't been able to damn mend the broken wings and get in the ring and have a unification bout. Now, it's a lot that you said I agree with when it comes to Charlo and Andrade. But from my personal perspective on Andrade, I would rather see Sergey Daryanchenko step in there with Charlo than Demetrius Andrade.
You tripping. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta check your temperature,
any day of the week, sober or inebriated. I would want to see Sergey Daryanchenko step in there with Jamal Charlo instead of Demetrius Andrade.
Rather a unification bout, undefeated fighters.
It don't matter at this point.
It don't matter.
A unification
don't matter.
Belts, unifications don't matter like that no more. It's all about the money that you can make. Unification, you got
$7 million. $7 million.
Hey, hear me out.
I know he ain't getting $7 million to fight Sergey Daryanchenko. I know he ain't getting $7 million to fight Sergey Daryanchenko.
Look, Canelo's going up the super middle, getting the belt, vacating it, and then going back kicking rocks. Then he go up to light heavyweight, get a belt, get the fuck on. It's not all about belts like that, unless it's that one belt.
So it is. So it's about belts when you talk about Terrence Crawford. So it's about belts when it comes to Terrence Crawford, but when it comes to this, it ain't about belts.
I said Terrence was a 3-division champion. Yes, it depends on divisions. It depends on divisions.
Andrade's a 2-division world champion. Wait, Andrade's a 2-division world champion. How many division world champion is Derevyanchenko?
Man, you know how many people Andrade can be a 2-division champion, but is he an exciting fighter? Is he an exciting fighter?
You're not answering my question. I'm saying you're not answering my question, though. I'm saying Demetrius Andrade is. You just said weight classes matter. Demetrius Andrade is a 3-time champion in 2 different weight classes. What about Sergey Derevyanchenko? How many weight classes is he a champion in?
Look, you're correct on the chips. We're not talking about the chips. We're talking about the division he is currently in and his excitement factor. Does he sell tickets? Does he put butts in the seats? Demetrius Andrade don't put butts in the seats.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He just had a sold-out crowd in Rhode Island. He just had a sold-out crowd in Rhode Island, bro. And come on, now he just had a sold-out crowd in Rhode Island.
Damn well, you up here supporting the wrong fighter that's boring as hell. He one of the most boring.
I'm supporting a 3-time world champion who's undefeated. And so if Demetrius Andrade, if he's born, I guess Floyd Mayweather was born too. So Floyd Mayweather's born too then, right? Because he wasn't knocking people out.
And it's the delirious statement to compare Demetrius Andrade to Floyd Mayweather.
How? Because both people said they both was boring. What do you mean? They say Floyd was boring. That what the
not
critics
all
said.
of his fights, bro. And I'm not talking about all of Demetrius Andrade fights. I'm saying right now, staying on topic, Demetrius Andrade, when it comes to him stepping in there with Jamal Charlo, I would rather see Derevyanchenko. We're talking about right now in this division. Right now. I ain't talking about any other. It don't matter how many other divisions he's at. We're talking about what he's doing right now in this division. He's not a ticket seller.
He's not a ticket seller. He just sold out in Rhode Island, bro. It was he sold out. What about Charlo? What about Charlo? What is Charlo doing? He just
a pack of hound dogs and sold out Rhode Island and sat in there by myself.
Nah, man, you trying to belittle Demetrius Andrade because Charlo been ducking him. You know what I mean? Ain't no avoiding that. Canelo ducked him. Canelo ducked Demetrius Andrade. Undisputed match for all the belts. Same thing with Triple G. Same thing with Charlo. So how can he force these guys to get in the ring with him? It's no way Derevyanchenko is a bigger fight than Demetrius Andrade. I know for damn sure that Charlo ain't getting $7 million to fight against Sergey Derevyanchenko. I know
and
that.
You don't know if Eddie Hearns offered him $7 million outside of him saying it on camera. We don't know. We didn't see no paperwork.
He revealed it, bro. He been sending offers.
Man, matter people of fact, reveal lies every day. H, come on, bro. People reveal lies every day.
Eddie Hearns said that Demetrius Andrade can go fight Charlo on PBC. And Charlo doesn't even have to come to the zone as long as you pay the same amount of money as the zone is doing. Charlo ain't saying nothing like that. This man ain't want to fight Demetrius Andrade.
So you think just because Eddie Hearns offer a deal of $7 million is fact? Come on, bro. You better than that now. You better than that.
Hey, Eddie Hearn, bro, is doing a great job in boxing. I
don't give a damn what Eddie Hearn is doing.
Devin Haney, great job. The best American prospect in boxing. So if Eddie Hearn is such a liar, if Eddie Hearn is such a liar, why did Devin Haney sign with him then?
Look, that was a business move for Devin Haney. Them ask them that. Get them on. And ask them that. Eddie Hearn should have been a business move for Charlo. Eddie Hearn hasn't lied. Man, you said
I didn't say he hasn't lied. I don't know him to say he hasn't lied. We talking
Eddie
about
Hearn
that was sent to Charlo,
putting out there false information just to make himself look good. Now we talking about one particular fighter in Demetrius Andrade and making a deal with Charlo. Yeah, Charlo actually said that Eddie Hearn sent him a slave deal. He said that deal was a slave deal. And Eddie Hearn went on camera and said, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't understand this, that, and the other. No, bro. If it's my belief, just like you put these phrases on boxers, ducking, bombs, that's just perception. That's just the narrative you use. But when I'm saying, when I'm saying Demetrius Andrade don't sell tickets, that's true too.
How is that not true? How is that not true? How?
Hey, hold on. Let me get to the live chat, man. I gotta talk to the live chat, bro. Everything boxing say, I got Jamal in a tough fight. Everything boxing say, Andre ain't fought nobody with his goofy ass. I think the goods, but he ain't never fought nobody. And see, I didn't even call the man goofy, but he is goofy. I don't care about him being goofy, but the dude is not exciting. MMA champs say exactly. Sporting Advantage say JC promo switched out him in a bad place legally. H Money is right. Andres deserve it. When we talk about boxers deserve certain things, man, it's a fine line. It's a fine line with that shit. Sporting Advantage say, "LO, peace, guys. I would catch playback. Gotta run." Hey, appreciate you dropping through, Sporting Advantage. Andre last fight was a killer. Who the fuck is that? H Money. I love the smoke. Everything boxer salute, bro. Bro, that's the smallest state. The whole state was there because they had nothing to do. MMA champ, that's the only thing I understand. That's why I said I could have brought a goddamn pack of hound dogs up there and sold that arena out. And everything boxers say, Andre got skills, but he's goofy clown that ain't fought nobody. Ain't nobody checking for his fights. He ain't made no noise in the sports. Don't nobody care about that belt. And that's exactly what I'm saying, bro.
Nobody care about a world title, bro. Man, that sounds crazy. So nobody cares about a world title because the
world title.
Let me finish. Nobody cares about a world title because Demetrius Andrade got it. Come on, man, this shit is crazy. Niggas just don't want to fight this nigga.
What's good, man?
How you doing, H Money? How you doing, Mr. World Combat, man?
What's good, man?
I'm just listening to y'all would trip. You know, I just came in here, so I'm gonna sit back and listen, and then because I gotta catch up, and then I'll be the third opinion. Because I see y'all got two different opinions. I'll be the third one. So I'll shut up.
All I was saying is, in a certain circumstance, belts matter. It depends if you picking up your first belt or not. You already said he was a 2-division champion. Okay, we all know the ranking systems of the WBO, right? Right, H? You know the ranking system, right?
I know he's a 3-time world champion. You know what I mean?
The ranking system of the WBO.
I know that he's been calling out Charlo for years.
Let me go through it. WBC, WBA. Look, WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. WBO is all the way on the backside. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, Demetrius Andrade, being that he does have that clarity as a multi-division champion, why hasn't he been able to excel and get the fight with Jamal Charlo if he already a multi-division champion? Why isn't he selling tickets more than what he is? Why? Because you can pick up chips and keep it moving. You can pick up chips and nobody know what the fuck is going on. Nobody can know, just like Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner is a 4-division champion, but people don't recognize him as being a 4-division champion outside of what he do in the streets, period.
Yeah, but people still fought Adrian Broner, Maidana, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia. All these people fought him. Nobody wants to fight Demetrius Andrade. He's the boogeyman.
You know why people respect Adrian Broner? Because of his entertainment value and what he contributes to his fights and how he go in there and perform. He hasn't been stopped, but yet he has been defeated. But he is respectful for not being a slouch. Demetrius Andrade does not come close to scratching the surface of Adrian Broner's star power.
Says who? Says who? I know a lot of Demetrius Andrade fans. Fresh BX favorite fighters. Fresh BX favorite fighters. Just because you don't like him, don't mean I don't like him. He's one of my favorite fighters.
I didn't like him. I never said I didn't like Andrade.
I'm saying ain't no defending Charlo for ducking this man, and everybody knows that Demetrius Andrade versus Charlo would be a way bigger fight than the Charlo versus Derevyanchenko. And I know this pay-per-view is gonna flop. This pay-per-view is gonna flop.
Yeah, I agree with that, H Money.
Yeah, because nobody want to, bro. Ain't nobody gonna watch this bullshit.
I really don't want to watch Derevyanchenko.
Exactly. Thank you, D. Cook.
That's a lie. That's a lie. People gonna watch this fight. Hey, hold up, fellas. People gonna watch this fight because of one, they got both Charlo brothers on there, and they're both championship fights. Okay,
that's why I might watch it. Though watch Jamel and Rosario. I definitely will watch that one. But Jamal and Derevyanchenko, he's gonna beat Derevyanchenko, whatever his name is.
He doesn't even know his name. Come on, bro. You talking about?
Man, come on. D. Hodge is not even 1% of the population here in the United States.
Come on,
Man,
bro. Nobody knows Dervianchenko. Only hardcore boxing fans know him. Nobody knows him, bro. Nobody knows Dervianchenko, bro.
Yeah, they do. Really the hardcore mainstream boxing fans, the hardcore purists.
Well, see, that's one thing. Andre got hardcore, and he got casuals. He got way more fans than Dervianchenko.
And I'm trying not to treat my company like casuals.
Look, this all. Hey, D Hodges, go ahead and cook, man, because you're making some great points. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna let D Hodges go in.
Because I don't want you tag teaming with D Hodges. You know,
I'm saying Andre is a way bigger name than Dervianchenko. People would love to see that fight. People would pay $80 for that pay-per-view. Nobody want to pay for no Charlo versus Dervianchenko. They better have Jamal. They better have Jamal Rosario as the main event. Because of Jamal and Dervianchenko, that fight ain't doing nothing.
Facts.
Hey, D Hodges, I have to disagree. The reason is that the last couple of fights Dervianchenko had is validated, is legitimate opposition. Yeah, he lost Daniel Jacobs, but Daniel Jacobs been in there with Triple G. Daniel Jacobs been in there with Canelo Alvarez. He's proven that he's a solid competitor. He didn't get stopped in there with Daniel Jacobs. He went in there Gennady Golovkin. The people
from him like Charlo, he gets hit too much.
Hey, hold up for a second. People are gonna look at the fight he had with Triple G and say, okay, Triple G has been in there with some top names, right? You have to mesh these fighters together with their opposition. At this division, people can't really link up Demetrius Andrade with the fights that Dervianchenko has had going into this Charlo fight. They can't do it. They cannot give him that credit, D. That's all I'm talking about.
True. But I got Charlo anyway. I think Charlo might be the first one to stop him. Because Charlo got more power than all the people he fought. I think when they fight, Charlo will be the hardest puncher he ever fought. I know he punched harder than Triple G. I know he punched harder than Canelo. I got a feeling he's gonna stop him.
So you think Charlo punches harder than Triple G, but you don't weigh in the factor that Triple G can take a good punch? Triple G has went the distance with Canelo Alvarez twice, went the distance with Daniel Jacobs.
And plus, Dervianchenko really don't got no power. You got to keep Jamal off you. If he don't feel your power, Jamal's a tiger. And Dervianchenko seems like he don't got too much power. So he's gonna have to box. He's gonna have to box real well. Because I don't see him stopping Charlo. It's been a
proven fact in history, D. Hodges, that you don't have to have power to go 12 rounds.
No, true that. Believe me, I know. Parnell Whitaker, shit, even Tyson Fury, even though he's a cheater now. Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying he hasn't been hit by Charlo. And if Charlo catch him with one of them hooks or uppercuts, night Dervianchenko. And I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think Andre will be a better fight for him because they both are athletic. You know what I'm saying? They both are slick and they both could punch. It's a way better fight than Derva, whatever his name is. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They're gonna make Charlo and Andre 2021 probably. They gotta fight though. They can't retire without fighting each other, or we won't respect neither one of them. And we'll say they both were scared. They have to fight.
Who? Andrade and Charlo?
Charlo. They have to fight. They cannot retire without fighting each other.
Oh, they absolutely. Hey, D. Hodges, they absolutely can. Charlo can retire without fighting Andrade just because he has a WBO title. I can see if he was unified, right? I can see if Andrade was unified in that division. But boxing is a business, man. It's all about selling tickets, putting butts in the seats. And check this out. Check this out, D. Hodges. I know we're in a pandemic and we having blackouts right now, but this shit just started. So when it comes down to PPVs, that's a whole nother deal. PPVs, man, and Demetrius Andrade sit up there and sell tickets by stepping in there with Jamal Charlo, and the same people show that attention that they would show, you know, if he was stepping in there with Dervianchenko, because he just looked very bad in his last couple of fights. He won, but it wasn't anything exciting, dog. It wasn't no entertainment value to it.
Bro, didn't Demetrius Andrade win his last fight by knockout? He did win his last fight by knockout against Luke King.
Look,
Matter of fact, wait. His last four fights.
And wasn't his last opponent a last-minute replacement?
I'm not sure what it was. You know what I'm saying? I know he won his last fight by knockout. I know that, and I know Charlo. Hey, I know one thing. He won his last fight by knockout. The fight against the fight before that.
Use your terminology. Use your terminology. H dude was trash.
He's winning by knockout because you're saying he's a boring fighter, but he just won by knockout. Man. Just say Charlo don't want the smoke. That's all you gotta say. That Charlo is ducking, bro.
Look, you gotta hold yourself to a standard sometime in this boxing game, H Money. If you're gonna sit up here and dog other fighters and call them a bum and say they're Uber drivers, you gotta do the same for those fighters who are underneath the canopy of which you support over there in the zone. And just because it's the zone doesn't mean
it ain't about that. I'm just being real. I'm stating facts. Didn't Demetrius Andrade, I don't know why you mentioned the zone, because Demetrius Andrade's called out Canelo, Triple G, Charlo, all the champions in his division, but none of them want to fight him. That's why he's the boogeyman. Got in the ring right after Triple G.
If he scanned himself in the mirror with that pirate outfit, he scanned himself. He ain't scanned nobody else.
Stared himself in a mirror with that WBO world title, with his undefeated record that Charlo scared to take his own. But he want to fight Derevyanchenko that nobody in America knows. Nobody knows Derevyanchenko. Nobody gonna buy this pay-per-view. It's gonna flop. I'm telling you right now, this pay-per-view is gonna flop.
That's your perception. And your perception is flawed by bias. Your perception is flawed by bias because you're supporting and you're advocating for fighters that's over there. You know damn well.
I'm telling the truth. How many pay-per-views that Charlo's done in the past?
Dude, this is boring as hell, bro.
Well, this is first pay-per-view. What kind of numbers you think he gonna do?
Look, you can't sit up here and prognosticate something in a pandemic, bro. Come on, be smarter than that. You can't sit up here and
being real. I'm stating facts. I'm not lying about nothing. I'm just being. Charlo just started doing main events. He just started doing main events in 2019.
In the middle of a pandemic, bro. Come on, man. It's no fans.
Nobody gonna watch that shit. He's gonna beat Derevyanchenko, who got 2 losses. That's not more impressive. He might as well go fight for more money. Demetrius Andrade in a unification bout in an undefeated champions. You know what I mean? But nah, go cherry pick again and go fight Derevyanchenko because you ducking Demetrius Andrade. A fucking ducker, man. He's a ducker, bro.
Man, ducking is just the terminology used by individuals who might be a bit agitated because they're not getting what they want. And you might.
It's the truth. He is ducking. Well, Eddie Hearn sent offers. Has Charlo ever sent the offer to fight Demetrius Andrade? No.
Man, I don't care. I just know Demetrius Andrade is a boring fighter.
I thought we want to see the best fight the best. 2 champions, undefeated.
You know the best don't fight the best. Come on, you know the best don't fight the best no more.
As long as you said that, thank you. That's my whole argument. You know what I mean?
Don't fight the best no more. In that case, we would have had Crawford and Errol Spence already.
Facts. You're right. Facts. You know what I mean? The same thing, man. 2 undefeated fighters. Unification bout. Charlo versus Andrade. Same thing as Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. 2 undefeated champions. You know what I mean? Let's make it happen. 2 undefeated champions.
Hey, check this out, H. Hummy McGear. How many division champions is Hummy McGear?
He's only a 1-time champion. He knocked out Saddam Ali.
What division is Hummy McGear in right now, though?
He's at 160.
So, do you remember anything that Hummy McGear did by stopping Saddam Ali?
Well, he became a world champion. Saddam Ali came off his win over Miguel Cotto.
I mean, do you remember anything outside of him stopping Saddam Ali?
He beat Liam Smith. Yeah, he did beat Liam Smith.
Come on, bro. I'm talking about highlights, Halo, bro. I'm talking about Halo shit that recognition stands for. Okay, Hummy McGee is somebody I want to see fight. Has it been anybody to pique your interest to say, you know what, I want to see Hummy McGee fight again?
Well, he knocked out Saddam Ali. He knocked out Liam Smith. Liam Smith in there with Canelo.
So just take Hummy McGee, right? Take Hummy McGee, and where's he ranked in 160 right now?
I think he's ranked number 1 in the WBO. I think he ranked number 1 in the WBO.
Okay, so why your boy ain't fight Hyman McGee yet?
Hyman McGee is ducking him. He's the boogie. You heard me call him the boogeyman.
I'm going to
Jaime Munguia is ducking Demetrius Andrade, bro. Everybody knows that.
Man, whatever.
After his last fight against,
Bro,
after he just knocked out, wait. Let me talk. After he knocked out Spike O'Sullivan, Jaime Munguia called out Charlo, Triple G, Canelo. He didn't call out Demetrius Andrade, bro. And he's ranked number 1 in the WBO. He ducked him.
It doesn't have anything to do with somebody consistently have to call out and then call out. Man, this ain't motherfucking roll call in elementary. This is he's ranked number 1 in the WBO, and Demetrius Andrade ain't fought the man. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I'm telling you, Jaime Munguia is ducking him.
Hey, hold on, H. I got to recognize the people in the chat.
Hey, say hi to Boston, y'all.
Hey, shout out to Andrew that's in the house, man. Thanks for dropping in. Ron Goodall, the queen, boxing queen herself, Denise Ward in the building. Shout out to Marcus, Ohio Run Boxing, man. Appreciate you stopping through, my brother. You know, Jared Anderson went and got another victory again. And, you know, we were just talking to some of your counterparts. H Money gave a damn good interview with Charles Conwell the other day. So y'all make sure you check out that interview over there. Ohio Run Boxing say in 2017, Demetrius Andrade ducked Charlo first. I mean, look, I haven't even got to that, Ohio, but you're right. I haven't even got to that yet. But you're right. Facts. Ohio Run Boxing said, what's good, H Money and Scotty? Good debate. I appreciate it, man. What about when Demetrius Andrade?
I heard you. You start chopping with caramel on the inside. I can hear you.
Hey, put him on mute real quick. I think he at work.
Listen to music.
You can put him on mute. He at work.
Yeah, I just did. Hey, what about this, H? When Demetrius Andrade, man, tried to increase, he even admitted this, that he tried to increase the purse that was between him and Charlo. He tried to increase it for, you know, close to $100,000, man, at the last fucking minute. And there's no way that shit could have been done. I was just saving the nugget to the last because I just like to walk people into a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? But what about him increasing the purse that was between him and Charlo to fight? And he tried to do it at the last minute, and then the fight fell out.
Well, I was waiting for you to say that because I got the answer. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we all know, man. Wait, let me cook for a second. Because we all know, bro, boxing, you know what I mean? You got to have the business side right. We seen Regis Prograis when he fought against Josh Taylor renegotiate the contract in that fight. Went to a renegotiation, postponed the fight, renegotiated the fight, then he fought Josh Taylor. You know what I mean? The same thing happened when Ryan Garcia fought against Romero Duno. First time they were supposed to fight, because Avery Sparrow got arrested, Ryan Garcia said, no, you need to pay me for, you know what I'm saying, for fighting Duno. So everybody was saying Ryan Garcia is ducking Duno. Ryan Garcia is ducking Duno. What happened? Ryan Garcia knocked out Duno in the first round when they fought. You know what I mean? This happened plenty of times.
Who said in the sport of boxing? Duno when he got arrested, man. You know what he got arrested for? They came.
Well, I'm just answering the question.
They came to pick him up. They came to pick him up. So how Ryan going to get chosen for ducking somebody who got picked up? He got scooped up by 12, bro.
Yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is the contract situation wasn't right. So he said 2017, Andrade ducked Charlo first. He didn't duck Charlo. The business side wasn't right. Now the business is right. We making it happen. And who's ducking who? So Charlo ducked him second. So according to Ohio Runs Boxing, Charlo ducked him second. Come on, man.
Hey. Just because of two fighters have not fought yet doesn't mean it's a ducking section. When it comes down to contractual agreement and you all have somewhat agreed to make this fight move forward, and then at the last minute, Andrade want to come up there and increase the price tag. What is that called, bro? Come on, H man. You gotta.
That's called getting the business right. That's called getting the business right, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about what's going on right now. $7 million and he's ducking. Come on, man. You know, much respect to World Combat Sports real quick because they like that we debating. It looks like the fans are entertained. So you wanted the pressure. Like I was chilling.
I didn't ask for shit. I said, give me the same energy about Jason Rosario, bro.
Hey, they like it though. They like it. I think you like to agitate me because I've been trying to chill. You've been pushing buttons, but
No,
yeah, man.
I never try to agitate you on boxing shit, but I know that you'll talk boxing whenever you feel like. I told you to leave all that other shit alone. I said,
Yeah, I did. I did, and I have. I've been listening. Well, you probably look at me like a little brother, so you know what I mean. You gotta, you know what I mean, rough up your little brother real quick. You know what I mean. But man, shout out to
it's boxing talk, man.
Shout out to Eric Cruz in the chat, man. Shout out to Ohio Runs Boxing.
Salute to Eric Cruz, man. But real talk, I get what you're saying there, H. I'm not gonna go back and forth on perception. You know what I'm saying? Because ducking is a label that's placed on a situation. It doesn't become business until the fighters contractually agree to something. Just because it's an open space and it's verbal sparring going back and forth, that ain't business. That ain't fucking business. Just because Eddie Hearn say, oh, it's 7 million out there. That's not fucking business. That's called social media bantering. It doesn't mean nothing until they come to the table. They people get with the others. The managers, promoters, and they start talking that business. And then they start to get to contractual. They start getting to the numbers. They start getting to everything. All this social media bantering back and forth, that shit don't mean nothing. It's just talk. It's just verbal sparring. That ain't ducking though. That's just you know, even though social media can make a fight sometime, we're in a pandemic, bro, and it's difficult for some fighters like Demetrius Andrade, in my opinion, to actually sell a PPV when it's a blackout with no gate. That's all I'm saying. I think Sergey Deryanchenko would do a lot better job facing Jamal Charlo than your boy Demetrius Andrade.
Hey, I can't help but laugh at that. Much respect to World Combat Sports, but like I said, man, you know what I mean. Boxing, you got to have the business side right. When Regis Prograis, like I said, fought against Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis pulled out that fight for a second, renegotiated the contract, then he went on with the fight. Same thing happened with Ryan Garcia.
Hold up, H. I gotta put a speed bump up there just a little bit. What were they fighting at the time when he fought Josh Taylor? Come on, you got to get the whole news, bro. Where was
they fighting at the time? You asked me where was they fighting at?
Yeah.
They was fighting overseas. I forgot. Right? I don't know where exactly it was. It was the World Boxing Super Series.
World Boxing Super Series. So the WBSS, it was some shit that was going on with them that caused Regis Prograis to say, oh, he's done with that. He's dropping out because it had a lot to do with the WBSS holding that title fight between him and Josh Taylor. It wasn't just Regis. It had a lot to do with the WBSS too.
Well, the same thing happened with Demetrius Andrade and Rock Nation. As you can see, Demetrius Andrade is no longer signed to Rock Nation. So that's the same situation. No, I'm just saying it's the same situation. That's the same thing.
How many world champions have Rock Nation put out, man? Come on.
Well, Andre Ward, Miguel Cotto, they had a couple of guys.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
Those are few in between. Come on, bro.
I'm just keeping it real. You asked me a question, and they had Andre Ward and Miguel Cotto at one point.
Rock Nation, the reason were they behind them since day one? Come on, did they pick them up from the ground floor?
Well, I was just answering your question. You know what I'm saying? But since we talking numbers, I want to ask you what you think these pay-per-view buys going to do. I'm thinking it's going to do no more than 200,000.
No more than 200,000. And you know what? It'll be easy for me to disagree with you on that. But look, I have to go to the fact that I need to see the entire undercard. I'll be honest, I haven't checked the entire undercard. Now, we just had mixed martial arts, the UFC. The big fight they had between Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman, who, in my opinion, Kamaru Usman, in a sense, is just a level up of the value when Demetrius Andrade star power comes into play. Kamaru Usman can fight, but he just can't promote a damn fight. They did 1.3, but the reason they did 1.3 is because they had 2 championship fights beneath the main event. Now, Charlo brothers, they're headlining this together, headlining co-main. I need to see what the undercard is looking like. That's all. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do, but I can tell you right now, it just seems like MMA is levitating just a little bit above boxing. And if This PPV does what you just said, only 200, below 500,000. It's problem. It's a problem, bro. If they do 200,000 PPVs, man, it's gonna be a problem because I don't even want to bring it Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, the numbers they did. Now that
could you mention it? Could you clarify the numbers that Wilder and Fury did real quick for me?
From my understanding, man, Wilder and Fury, I believe, did, was it close to 700,000?
The second one, right? That's the second pay-per-view.
Correct. I'm talking nothing but the second fight. February 20th.
You're right. You're right. Set about 700,000.
So Charlo brothers is nowhere close to the star power of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. So, like I said before, you might be right. You know what I'm saying? They might be a little bit at 2 or above 200,000. With the blackout and everything and the lack of star power the Charlo brothers have globally, they might do low numbers. I don't know, man.
I can't believe we agreed. Finally agreed on something. I can't believe it.
It's not what I'm saying? It's when you calling people Uber drivers and goddamn, that everybody's ducking everybody, man. We always gonna disagree on that.
You mentioned Jaime Munguia. I'm happy you mentioned him because Dennis Hogan was Jaime Munguia's last opponent, and then Dennis Hogan fought against Charlo. So Charlo fought against Jaime Munguia's leftovers. Since you was just roasting Munguia, just remember Charlo fought his leftovers in a higher weight class.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the connection when it comes to him facing Demetrius Andrade.
Facts. You're right. So what else you got on the on the table? What else you talking about tonight?
Hey man, the next fight on deck there, H, is Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, man.
Bullshit, man. That I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I know Gervonta Davis is your boy. You know what I mean? Like I said, of course you've been to his fights, you covered them, you know what I mean? But come on, man, you just moved up.
Black people always talking about, well,
I'm saying,
hey, I know what up though? I know that's your boy.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Marcus? Ohio Run Boxing.
Leo Aho, sorry.
No, I just want to put my little input, man. Great debate, great show. I loved it. I love every minute of the back and forth, man. But no, man, I'm going to put the zone and Al Heyman, man. But Al Heyman has a deal with PBC, with Fox, and Fox and Showtime.
He sounds mad low.
I've never seen him. Can you hear me?
Hey, you on the earpiece, Mark?
No.
Hey, appreciate that everything. Boxing say Wilder vs. Fury 2 did 800 plus PPVs. I appreciate that info, but appreciate it, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, are you on the earpiece or are you just talking in speakerphone?
No, I'm talking to this the little speaker. It's really an iPad, so it's probably bad.
Okay, I can hear you clear just then. I hear you clear now.
Okay. But Al Heyman has never had none of his champions cross over to the zone and fight on that app. I think Demetrius Andredes knew that. I feel like Demetrius Andredes is in a similar situation like Dillian White. When Dillian White had an opportunity to fight for the WBC, all he had to do was fight Ortiz, a name, and then he got the fight with Wilder. But no, so he ended up being on the outside, looking stupid a couple of years down the road, and wanting people to feel sorry for him. And I'm not with that. It's like you had the opportunity. Demetrius was trying to get business, like you said, he wanted a higher purse, whatever the deal was. But the fight was set. It was set, and he dropped out. So obviously, it wasn't about him fighting the best. It was about money. Now that he's getting a little bit of money, because he's getting great money at the zone, now he wants names. It's like, come on, man. Like, you had that, so I don't feel too bad for Demetrius. He doesn't have a fan pleasing style. I mean, no, he don't, and I definitely get why a lot of people say what they say about his style. But at the end of the day, he needs to fight a name. But he's over there in the zone. He's over there. It's gonna be hard for them to cross. I never felt Eddie Hearn was going to get that fight when he sent the offer to Jamel Charlo, because Al wasn't going to let it happen. It wasn't a duck. I told people when the offer, it didn't matter how good the offer was. Al was not going to let Charlo accept it because they have an agreement over on the other side. If you don't want to come fight over there on Showtime and Fox, we ain't got time. And I think that's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But that's go ahead. Y'all can go ahead time in.
Okay, well, look, this is what I want to say. Okay, Demetrius Andrade's on the zone. The zone got all the middleweights. The zone got Canelo, Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Had Daniel Jacobs. You know what I mean? They got all the big names in the middleweight division. Charlo is the one on PBC with no middleweights. You know what I mean? He's over there. Like what Eddie Hearn say? What the fuck, Charlo? What the fuck are you doing over there? You know what I'm saying? Come over here. That's just like Terrence Crawford on Top Rank with no welterweights. PBC got all the welterweights. It's the same situation. Charlo was over there on the island by himself, fighting fucking Dennis Hogan's. He's fighting against Brandon Adams, Constanzo, and all, man, these bums. Why not come to the zone where you're getting paid more money? You got the big names, you know what I mean, and make the big fights happen. That's all I'm saying, bro.
No, I agree with you. I think it's like I said, it's the politics. I don't disagree with you on that. He's in the same situation. Charlo's almost in the same situation with Crawford. Crawford is, on the island by himself, and it's just the politics, man. I think you have to put more pressure on the WBC, these belts, these sanctioning bodies. You have to put more pressure on them, but I don't think they're going to fold at the end of the day because they were supposed to be the ones with power. But it looks like you can do whatever you want when it comes to them. They don't have ground to stand on. So it's the politics, man. That's the one thing I hate about the fighting. But at the end of the day, man, most of it ain't ducking. When I was even talking about, Demetrius ducking him first, I was really just saying he dropped out. He didn't want the fight, and it could have been business, but everybody wants to say duck so fast, and it's not always ducking. It could be business, but I know he's hitting himself in the back of the head when he sees his situation. I mean, come on, let's look who he fought and who he won the WBO title from. Let's be honest, bro. So he do have a couple of names. I mean, Willie Nelson, nobody was bringing up. That's a good win, but it's not the best win. Willie Nelson, he beat a former world champion, so he got a few names, but it's not up there. So I'm not about to debate his resume either. But I just wanted to put my little input on it, guys. I ain't about to be on here too long.
No, it's all good, man. I appreciate you for stopping through Ohio Run Boxing. I appreciate that every time, bro. And what I wanted to say also is what is not mentioned most of the time is that these fighters, they don't sit up here and negotiate and make their own fights. You know what I'm saying? It does come down to a lot of politics, man. Even with people saying, oh, they with Lions Only promotion, Devin Haney promotion, you know what I'm saying? Man Down promotion. They have to go through they have somebody there to make sure everything is done correctly. They're not sitting up here drafting up the paperwork. They're not going line for line, reading the contracts over and over again in the draft process. They got other shit to do. So it comes down to politics and boxing. Absolutely. These fighters, man, they can talk it out on Twitter. They can talk all that shit all they want. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to the paperwork, that's what really counts.
Well, World Combat Sports, I seen Eddie Hearn on FaceTime talking with Charlo. I mean, if Eddie Hearn is so bad, if they don't like Eddie Hearn so much, dang, you cool. Charlo's cool enough to be on the phone with him, talking and laughing. You know what I mean?
I never said Charlo didn't like Eddie Hearn. I said that Charlo said that the deal that Eddie Hearn was trying to offer him was somewhat like a civility deal. It was slave deal, right? And you can talk to somebody on the phone. It doesn't fucking matter. You can have a conversation and you can bullshit around for the damn gram or the fans or whatever. But that doesn't mean that you want to be a part and locked in contractually with somebody like Eddie Hearn.
Well, let me say this real quick, World Combat Sports, man. You know what? Charlo has never made $1 million in a fight. You could check his purse bids. The most Charlo ever made in a fight was $500,000. Eddie Hearn is offering you way more to fight. He's offering you millions. You don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade, bro. Everybody knows that. He doesn't keep the same energy. Listen, Charlo doesn't want to fight Andrade the same way Keith Thurman didn't want to fight Earl Spence. It's the same scenario, bro. Same scenario. First they were saying, "Oh, he's broke." You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He needs to fight me. You know what I mean? Now it's go get a belt. Charlo, go get a belt, Andrade. He got a belt. Oh, he's broke. Andrade, a multi-millionaire.
I think that's a very be respectful. I think that's a poor analogy to use because Keith Thurman, Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, that was a different situation. Yeah, Keith Thurman didn't want to acknowledge Errol Spence's presence. He didn't want to acknowledge it, but more people would have paid to see Keith Thurman and Errol Spence fight than they would pay Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo. Facts, period.
No, bro. Period. I'm saying the same scenario. Well, let me talk because it's the same scenario. Keith Thurman was a champion, undefeated champion. So was Earl Spence. Demetrius Andrade is an undefeated champion. So is Charlo. It's both undefeated unification bouts. So how is it different? Charlo downplaying Demetrius Andrade for years. Oh, he's broke. We ain't gonna fight him. We ain't gonna let him suffer. We ain't gonna fight him. Man, Charlo
I don't
like
care. I'm not debating the ducking, you know, and what was said about the trash talking. That's very minimal concern to me. I don't care about that. What I'm concerned about is when you use the phrase ducking, you just can't say just because they haven't fought one another, it's all about who's Charlo, the one that you don't support. He's ducking to face Demetrius Andrade. You can't be biased like that because you support Demetrius Andrade. You have to dichotomize. Look, you have to dichotomize it. You have to split it down the middle and call it for what it is. It's boxing is business first, and if they haven't fought one another, it's a lot more backstory to those two than you're putting out here. They tried to link up back in 2017, but Demetrius Andrade
Wait. Andrade is the one trying to make the fight. Charlo's the one saying we don't
now because he needs it. He needs it.
Charlo needs it too. Fighting Brandon Adams and Dennis Hogan.
Man, Charlo. How many division champions Charlo, bro?
He's a 2-division world champion, but who he beat?
You proved my point. Why does he need Demetrius Andrade?
You criticizing Demetrius Andrade's resume. Wait. You criticizing Demetrius Andrade's resume. Who has Charlo beat at middleweight?
What are you talking about? I'm criticizing his resume, bro. Where are you going with this?
You did criticize. You said who Andrade beat, bro? Andrade ain't beat
in the last two fights.
Who did Charlo beat? Who did Charlo beat? That's what I'm asking you.
2 fights.
No, I'm asking you who did Charlo beat?
Look, this was my link up to what you're saying right now. I say when it comes to the PPV status, I would rather see Sergey Derevyanchenko step in there off his last 2 opponents than I would Demetrius Andrade. That's what I said, H. That's what I said, bro.
I got a question for you. I just got one question.
Isn't that what I said? We got to validate this. Isn't that what I said? I said based off the PPV, I would rather want to see Sergey Derevyanchenko step in there coming off Daniel Jacobs and freaking who? Gennady Golovkin. Who in that perspective, when it comes to selling PPVs, can Demetrius Andrade last 2 opponents match up to that? None of them. None of them.
I understand that. I understand. But my question to you, I understand that. Who has Charlo beat?
That's a crazy question to ask, bro.
I'm just asking you. Ask me who did Andrade beat. I can't ask you which.
In the last 2 fights,
the question is not crazy. Well, you just asked me that same question.
Hey, come on, bro.
Come on, man.
You acting like some pages. You acting like you're missing pages in your boxing textbook, bro.
I'm asking you, who did Charlo beat at middleweight? Why you can't answer that question?
Look, your question is an open-end question. Why? Because it's irrelevant to what I compared the analogy to.
You can't name anybody.
The last two opponents that who?
I'm saying, you can't answer the question. You don't want to answer the question. Now, all I'm asking, who did Charlo beat at middleweight? Look, they fight the same level of competition. Andrade and Charlo fight the same level of competition, but you won't criticize Charlo.
Now, Ace, check this out. Check this out. That's where you're wrong, because why would we be talking about this if Charlo fought somebody? We even said Charlo didn't fight anybody. We said Charlo need to step up. We said that on a different live. I don't even think you're reflecting on that. We said Charlo needs to step up in competition. I said it when I started this live. And also I said Demetrius Andrade, he ain't really fought nobody in the last 2 fights to step on the PPV and sell this with Jamal Charlo. That's what I said. I don't care about the resume because both of them need help. Both of them need a step-up fight. That's what I said.
Hey, let me say
step up and fight each other.
Let me say this. I think Charlo's last 2 fights has been decent. I think Brandon Adams and what's his name, Matt Kovalball. I forgot his name.
It was Dennis Hogan.
He's no. Oh no, not Dennis Hogan. Then we talking about Kovalov. He fought when his brother lost on the undercard.
Yeah.
He didn't do too good in it. He didn't
Correct.
do too good, but he's a decent opponent. He's nobody really pushover. But the politics in the boxing, man, is all that. The zone is signing fighters on the other side, and they still not fighting each other. So you just imagine trying to cross over. Triple G signed to the zone to fight Canelo. And they go, he got 4 or 5 fights before he tried to get the Canelo fight. And then when the zone bags Canelo to, try to give him the fight, Canelo said, okay, I'll give him the fight. Then Triple G said, no, I made a promise to this, non-fighter, whoever this guy is, he need a tune-up because of Derevchenko looking as good as he did against Triple G. And I felt Derevchenko beat Triple G. I'm not about to go in here and play this, Triple G won and Derevchenko won that fight.
Fact.
And it was taken from him. He won that fight. But that's when it comes to people was trying to say that about Wilder. Wilder should sign with DAZN. Listen, there's guys signing over there to DAZN and they can't even fight each other. So like I said, it's a whole politics. It's up to the fighters that they ain't touched on that study. When y'all just talk about, these guys, these different promotions, but yet they're not making it. They're not making these moves. They're saying they're their own boss, but they're really, really not making those moves. It's all about loyalty, and I think that's the reason why they're not crossing over. Is they only go cross over when they get desperate. Bob Arum was the perfect example of that when he was bad about Al.
Absolutely.
Years later, and all of a sudden he had to change his tune
and co-promote.
Running out of stables. Was running out of stables, man. He had Manny Pacquiao fighting Timothy Bradley a 3rd time when Manny felt he beat him the first 2 times. Kovalev versus Pascal 2. Give me a break. He beat him out the first time. So when their back is against the wall, they're going to start crossing over, and they need her. So I think that's all thing we can just depend on when their back is being pushed, because a lot of people, it's us. We have to, I'll get off on here, and man, we're busy, but I enjoy the show.
Hey, I appreciate Ohio Run Boxing, man. Salute for stopping through. Let me get into chats, man, and thanks for the donations, man. Lumbro said that right quick. I do think Canelo is holding up weight divisions and other boxers' careers by jumping around weight classes and hijacking belts. Also, he said Bivol and Beterbiev both are great matches. Now I see negotiation between Smith and Canelo. What is your thoughts, gents? El Foul Player said, cause Andrade will probably wash him. He must be talking about Jamal Charlo. Everything boxing say, you don't know what Charlo make over at the PBC. What they really make ain't even disclosed. And I have to agree with that. Facts, man. We really don't know across the board. Like, I've been a big critic of people saying Anthony Joshua is making a huge Brinks truck of money. But I'm saying to myself, all we need to be understanding of, if we see the paperwork and the numbers, because he has people to pay. And you sit up here saying, okay, he makes 80 million, and then turn back around and not understand that he has people to pay, and we haven't seen any paperwork. Also, Foul Player said Derevchenko is not a bigger sale than Andrade. We can go back and forth on this all day long, but when it comes to selling tickets and what have you done for the fight fans lately, is a big, huge deal when it comes to this pandemic. We don't even have a gate. They're trying later on in the year to have a minimal fan gathering in some of these events. And plus the ticket prices are going to be much more expensive, but they're going to try it out. We just had a fight with Michael Nunn and Pat Miletich. From my understanding, they had close to 3,000 in attendance. And this was not a boxing match. It wasn't a mixed martial arts match, but it was a kickboxing affair. And you haven't heard anything bad about it. They was able to put on 3,000 people in attendance. They had it. It was a gathering, and we didn't hear anything about it in Davenport, Iowa. Now, with boxing as a whole, I truly believe that when it comes down to what people want to see based off the last two opponents, they need something to grab hold of in boxing. And look, H, that's what they're going to compare it to. They're going to run the gauntlet and say, you know what? Darian Chico was in there with Triple G. Triple G was in there with who? He was in there with this name, that name. That's what they're going to compare it to, because they love to boost up Triple G. They love to boost that man up.
Bro, you don't get no credit for losing.
You do, in a sense. You do sometimes get credit for losing. Absolutely, you do. You know why you get credit, H? Just to go over the top of how contradicting that is that Darren Chico lost 2 times for the IBF championship, and now he's fighting for the WBC. You do get credit.
Yeah, because Charlo don't want to fight Andrade. And we got a comment. L Foul player says Darianchenko is not bigger than Andrade. Everybody's been saying Andrade is a bigger name. Everybody in the chat, people who came to the panel, D Hodges, everybody said Andrade. You are the only one that says Darianchenko. And you know we got a lot of respect for you. But I'm just telling you, you don't get no credit for losing, bro. At the end of the day, winning is the name of the game. So Darianchenko didn't get any belts. He didn't win no belts, bro. He got a loss on his record.
Well, you keep talking about belts, and I'm trying to tell you it's about what the fans want to see right now. And you know how fans don't want the fans. Hey, hold up, H. You know how fans treat these neighboring fighters. I repeat, you know how fans treat these neighboring fighters. Just look at the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Bruh, you may say in your own heart of hearts, Demetrius Andrade is a bigger name. And yes, he's a 2-division champion. Okay, I get it. But when it comes to these neighboring fighters like Darianchenko, who's been in there with the Jacobs and Gennady, guess what? They're going to boost him up, and they're going to say, man, you know what? I want to see Darianchenko go in there and see can he beat Jamal Charlo. It's a lot of people don't like the Charlo brothers. So who do they want to pay and see? They want to see Darianchenko go in there and defeat, just like they wanted to pay to see Tyson Fury go in there and defeat Deontay Wilder. It doesn't always has to do with what sounds good and what looks good. It's all about what have you done for me lately in the sport of boxing. And he has Jacobs and he has Gennady Golovkin, man.
Well, L Foul player says Andrade has a belt, though. Andrade is undefeated. People all year long, 2019.
There's a lot of fighters undefeated.
Well, let me say something. All 2019, people have been talking about Andrade versus Charlo. Nobody has been talking about Charlo versus Darianchenko. You know what I mean? People have been talking about Charlo versus Andrade for years. That's a way bigger fight. That's what people have been talking about. They've been interviews when Charlo did interviews, they asked Charlo about Andrade. They never asked Charlo about Darianchenko. All of a sudden, Darianchenko gets the fight. I'm supposed to say this is the best thing that happened since sliced bread? No, man, it's a good fight.
Again, I must reiterate. I said for the PPV off the last 2 opponents he faced. I don't know how much I need to elaborate and underscore that shit, dog. The last 2 opponents Darianchenko faced, bro.
It still doesn't make it a bigger fight because Andrade's undefeated and he's a world champion, and this is the fight that people want. Nobody wants to see Charlo versus Darianchenko. Of course, Charlo versus Darianchenko is a step up from Dennis Hogan, Brandon Adams, and what's his name, Korobov and Centini, all those Uber drivers he was fighting. Sure, I'll applaud him. Finally step it up in competition. But at the end of the day, the people want to see Charlo versus Andrade, and Charlo has been ducking the fade. He's been ducking the smoke.
And make sure you call the tow company to hook up all those Uber drivers Demetrius Andrade got on his record too.
Well, they both been fighting Uber drivers. That's why they need to fight each other. That's why they need to fight each other. That's why they got to fight each other and unify, bro.
Once again, H, you want to dress this up like I'm talking about their resumes from top to bottom. I'm talking about this PPV, homie. That is it. That is primarily what I'm talking about.
PPV is dead. The last pay-per-view to do $1 million and the last
PPV dead.
Let me finish. Let me say what I'm going to say. You didn't let me finish what I'm saying. All I'm saying, pay-per-view is dead. The last boxing pay-per-view to do $1 million. Let me say what I was going to say. The last boxing pay-per-view to do $1 million pay-per-view buys is Canelo versus Triple G, and they fight on DAZN, and DAZN is no pay-per-view.
We don't care about that pay-per-view pandemic. H, come on, bring it down. We in a pandemic.
The pay-per-view buys.
The world has changed, bro. We're not.
Man, ain't nobody gonna buy that. Ain't nobody gonna buy that, bro. That's pay-per-view is gonna flop. PBC should put it on Showtime. They messed up by putting this on pay-per-view. A total failure, bro.
We're talking pesos right now, bro, because we're in a pandemic, bro.
They gonna lose, bro.
So look, I know how before this pandemic hit, how people were saying PPV is dead and everything's going over to the app, and we're basically going to be streaming apps, and everything is going to be, basically generated and bottlenecked through the apps. Okay, that was before this entire destruction happened with COVID-19 and the pandemic lockdown. PPV is resonating once again because we have no choice, H. We have no fucking choice, dog, but to sit here and buy something because we can't go to the fight no more. We have no choice but to look at it on an app. We have no choice but to pay for PPV. So guess what? It has risen again, bro. It's risen. PPV is risen. It's back.
How?
Until we start going back to again.
How? The UFC doing pay-per-view. That's UFC. That's not boxing. UFC isn't boxing. That's a completely different sport. That has nothing to do with boxing.
The UFC had just put on the highest buyout right now, PPV card right now with the highest amount of buys for the year 2020.
That's UFC. That's not boxing. Why would you compare UFC to boxing?
It's PPV though. Doesn't boxing been around longer than MMA?
That's a different sport, bro. That's a different sport. That's a completely different sport.
And they have a smaller fan base than boxing too, H.
Nah, that's a completely different sport, bro. And for Charlo has never even done a pay-per-view before. Jorge Masvidal was already in a pay-per-view against Nate Diaz. So that's a bad analogy, like you told me, bro.
It's not a bad analogy because when you look at the PPV co-main event and the third championship bout, they never did a PPV either. I guarantee you Charlo don't do over 300 pay-per-view bouts. They never did a PPV. You just can't gloss over that shit. They never did a PPV either, dog. Look, the third championship fight, they was fighting for a vacant title. And then the co-main event, they was in a rematch. They never did a PPV as a whole. So it's the same thing. We're talking about a smaller fan base. We're talking about a smaller group of people who's chiming in the mixed martial arts. Boxing's been around longer than the sport of mixed martial arts. Facts. Boxing's much bigger.
Well, listen to me. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury couldn't even do 1 million pay-per-view buys. You know damn well Charlo versus Derevyanchenko ain't gonna do shit. This is a complete.
It was the last
PBC
time we agreed.
bro.
I agreed with you.
I appreciate let me say this. PBC is bullshitting, putting this fight on pay-per-view during this pandemic. Ain't nobody gonna buy that shit, bro. It's gonna be a failure.
How the hell you figure and the UFC just put on a PPV with
that's
people?
The UFC. That's MMA. That's a completely different sport. That's like comparing basketball to football. Come on, bro. That's terrible, bro.
Hardly anyone knows these UFC fighters that was on PPV outside of mixed martial arts.
Usman was already in pay-per-views with Kobe
I'm
Covington.
talking about the co-main event and the third championship fight. We ain't talking about Usman. We're talking about the co-main and the third championship.
Jose Aldo was a pay-per-view star.
Jose Aldo was coming off a loss.
He still was a pay-per-view star with Conor McGregor. He was plenty of pay-per-views.
13 seconds, bro. What are you talking about? Conor McGregor.
I'm not talking about who won the fight. I'm telling you, Jose Aldo was a pay-per-view star.
Jose Aldo. Conor McGregor sold that fight. That's why Conor McGregor was able.
Jose Aldo was the champion. Conor McGregor wasn't the champion.
That's why
Jose Aldo was the champion.
Transition over and fight Floyd Mayweather with an 0-0 boxing record and do big numbers because he was a superstar and a 2-division champion in the UFC. He was the first to ever do it. Jose Aldo didn't have anything to do really to sell that fight. He got knocked out in 13 seconds. He was goddamn spooked out.
He was the champion. He didn't do anything, but he was the champion.
He was the champion, but he was an old champion. Look,
he was champion. He was considered one of the greatest fighters in UFC history at the time.
But also, you have to look at he was a former WEC champion, and he transitioned over to the UFC. I'm talking about selling power. People know Jose Aldo was the champion, but when it comes to selling numbers on a PPV, it has to do with the star power, and Conor McGregor was that guy.
So how is Charlo going to sell in a pay-per-view and he ain't got no star power?
Charlo is on there with his brother, H. Come on, link
they
up.
both ain't got no star power put together, bro. Okay, I just can't wait, bro. I can't wait. I can't wait. Because I can't wait to tell you I was right once again. Just like when you picked Jorge Masvidal over Usman, and I was right there.
Bro, maybe in your world, but not my world. It's not all about being right, bro.
I feel you. But this is what I got to say, man. PBC messed up by putting this fight on pay-per-view, bro. It was a terrible decision. You know what I mean? It's a good fight, but it's not pay-per-view worthy. This fight is not pay-per-view worthy, bro. This is not a pay-per-view.
They got to make money.
So it's about money, bro. It's not about the fans now, man.
Oh, it's definitely about money during a pandemic. Come on, bro.
Hey, World Combat Sports. I just want to say this before I dip.
I expect more. This debate's been going on. I expect more from you. Come on, you slipping.
So, man, much respect to World Combat Sports. It was a great debate.
But World Combat 3 or 4 times already.
At World Combat Sports, I want to say this, man. These are some good fights, but it's not pay-per-view worthy. PBC dropped the ball by putting this on pay-per-view, man. You know what I mean? He's gonna do some bad numbers.
Supposed to make money during the pandemic, though, if it's no gate.
Hey, bad numbers. You know, DAZN they're gonna make some big fights without pay-per-view. PBC is struggling, bro. PBC is going out of business, guys. They gotta put it on pay-per-view. It's about money. They running out of money, bro. They talking about DAZN running out of money. PBC is falling apart, bro. Man, DAZN gonna end up buying out PBC, man. That's what's gonna happen. Appreciate that though, World Combat, man. A little bit too much smoke. Let me go in and chat and enjoy your show, man. Because I don't want it to get too smoky. Appreciate that though, big bro.
That's hilarious.
Come holler at me later on my joint.
All right, man. Salute, man. Thanks for dropping in, bro.
All right, peace.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's up, Roger?
I just wanted to address the guy's question, man. Hell yeah, Canelo's holding up the goddamn division. He's holding up 3 of them. That nigga been chilling with 3 belts in 3 different divisions. That is fucking unheard of and uncalled for. And I'm disgusted by it. How do you hold 3 belts in 3 divisions? You're supposed to give up. You're supposed to give up one of them at least. He's holding up 3 divisions, in my opinion.
It depends on when he's supposed to defend that particular belt versus the mandatory. You know what I'm saying?
I know that though, but still, just pick one. Just stay at 68, drop 60, and you know you're not gonna fight at 175. You know you're not. Kovalov is the only one you was gonna fight. You ain't beating nobody else up there. They're gonna spark you. So at least give up the 175 and just, you know, do the 160 and 68. But you don't gotta keep all 3 because he's not fighting at. I don't see him fighting at 170. I don't see him fighting at 175 again. In my opinion, I don't see him fighting at 175. So he need to just give that belt up because as long as he has a belt in each division, we'll never get undisputed. He got to give up something.
And you're right. When it comes to undisputed, that's what I was trying to mention early. A belt is a belt, man. If it's your first one, cool. But you don't find a lot of fighters this day and time that's trying to become undisputed. Like they're trying to pack away divisions early. They want to be multi-division champions. It's a lot of fighters that's out here. There's multiple division champions, but it's not an undisputed in between that equation. With Canelo Alvarez, he feels that he's able to make more money if he does hold a belt in those divisions without fighting a mandatory. And if he does fight another person at that division, guess what? It's going to be about the money because he has a belt. MMA champ talking about it's raining out here. I think that's all over. Let me get to some of these comments. D Hodges say Ohio, good call, bro. Andre got a belt though. A lot of people have a belt. You know, both him and Charlo are 2 division champions. It's all about, can you put butts in the seats? Let's take it outside the pandemic. It's all about if you can sell tickets, especially during this pandemic. Like, that is very important, if you can sell tickets or not. Can you sell tickets? Because these promoters, these organizations are taking a hit. A lot of them are going, I wouldn't say they're going broke, but they lost an extensive amount of revenue. You just can't sit up here and say, well, it's all about the fight. All that shit is over. Boxing hasn't been about the best fighting the best for quite some time now. And now that we don't have a gate, it's definitely going to be certain fights we ain't want to see. We've been looking at it. Top Rank has been putting on cards just, you know, to get the name out there and have fighters go out there and make a paycheck and also start generating some attention and generating a little bit of revenue, you know, and so forth. But when you're talking about putting on a PPV, you cannot knock. You can't sit up here and knock PPV being placed 2 PPV events, just 2, the Charlo brothers, and then Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. You can't knock them putting a PPV on television when the UFC just put a PPV on. You know what I'm saying? You just can't knock that. And from my understanding, I think for a fact that Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson was PPV too. So Dana White has came over here and put on, I think, 2 PPVs during the pandemic. So who's to say it's not good for boxing? Yes, PPV should be put on. We're not able to come to the fight, so what? Charge the goddamn fans to look at some good fights. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Hodges, you there? Junior say, what do you guys think of Shane Mosley fight this Friday? I didn't even know Shane Mosley was fighting this Friday. You talking about the Sun? You talking about the Sun? If you talking about the Sun, then, you know, he's been trying to establish his name for quite some time. Good dude. You know what I'm saying? I just think he did very poorly in the Contender. Seriously, I just think he had the wrong game plan. He has skill, but he didn't shine the way I thought he would. Both Charlo are fun to watch. I agree. Charlo versus Demetrius is a way bigger fight. People are gonna say Charlo and Demetrius Andrade is a big fight, but they're not taking into consideration in what Floyd Mayweather uses all the time. Like, when you have these fighters, they want the most when it comes down to a country or their fan base following them. And I'm not saying Dariunchenko has a larger fan base, but all I'm saying is when you have neighboring fighters, even the U.S. fans will somewhat betray the U.S. fighter and pay to see this particular neighboring fighter fight a fighter like Charlo to see if he loses. That's just the way it is, man. That's a weird fact. But over here in the U.S., we see the rotation over and over again. We see champions come and go. We're spoiled. So when we have the Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Dariunchenko's, Vasily Lomachenko's, you know, Arthur Beterbiev, we have all these, you know, Gennady Golovkins. We have all these neighboring fighters come over here and check this out. People will pay to see them. And it might be a lot of people that will pay to see Dariunchenko go in there and try to defeat Jamal Charlo. Then they will pay to see Charlo face Demetrius Andrade, because a lot of people in the boxing community may know Demetrius Andrade, but the boxing community isn't. I'm talking about the boxing community and the fans are different. I think it's less fans that were paid to see Demetrius Andrade than they would see Chenko. That's just what I think, because of who he's been in there recently. He's been in there with Gennady Golovkin, who was in there with Saul Canelo Alvarez. Who can they link up Demetrius Andrade with recently? They can't link him up with nobody. Unless you internal to the boxing community and you know the backstory between Charlo and Andrade, you can't link them up. So if you can't really link them up, what do you think the fans out here on the outside are doing? They really can't bring a connection together and say, you know what? I'd rather see Demetrius. Only the ones who follow boxing is saying Demetrius Andrade is a bigger name than Chenko. But if you go to the fans who's going to be tuning in for this PPV, I guarantee you they want to see Chenko, because they probably felt that he beat Gennady Golovkin, who's a big fucking name, who's been in there with Canelo Alvarez. You got anything to say, D. Hodges?
Yep, I just want to touch up on that UFC subject. The only reason why UFC is doing way better than boxing, they're number-wise, money-wise, everything. Dana White probably got more money than all the sanctioning bodies together. And it's the end of the day, they got one champion. You have to fight the top guy to become the top guy. If boxing, if they only have one champ, one name, on dogs, you'll see the fight bite the best. That's what UFC do. UFC don't got no middleweight, diamond belt, no heavyweight. It's either you're the heavyweight, middleweight, whatever champ. You're the top dog. So now the best have to fight the best so they can get to the best. But when you got 4 or 5 belts you can go for the weakest champion. But UFC, you got to go for that top dog. That's what make their fight so interesting. That's the difference between the two. That's why UFC do way better, because they only got one belt. So everybody got to go hard. You can't pick no weak champion because it's only one. That's all I had to say. Back to the Andre. But yeah, UFC, they do the damn thing. Boxing need one tournament for everybody. Every weight division need to have a world boxing series. When the pandemic's over, put all the champs together in one series, and whoever wins, you're the number one champ. They got to do something, because as long as they keep making diamond, silver, franchise, pearl, platinum, sound like a Pokemon game, green, red, blue. sound like a Pokemon game, silver, ruby. Like, come on, man, get one belt, and we'll have one champ, and we'll be fine. But like I said, boxing will never do that. Too much money lost. So UFC is always going to be better than boxing. Facts.
Well, they're trying. I mean, on the outside looking in, okay, the window looks clear enough to say, you know what? Yeah, the UFC was able to jump on board. You know what I'm saying, and jumpstart the fights up again once the pandemic kind of subsided, and these small facilities was opening up to allow fights to be held there with a course stringent COVID-19 testing. They was the first out the gate. So I commend Dana White for being able to do that. As far as his finances go,
actually, I'm sorry, out of sports, WWE was the first one, and Vince was killing the game. They was having full wrestling events with no fans. WWE started first.
Yeah, WWE started first, but I'm talking about combat sports.
That's a combat sport.
No,
a little bit.
World Wrestling Entertainment does not require a cut man. It doesn't require you to have a corner. It doesn't require you to even have a referee in there, because it's scripted. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't lying. That's the truth. That's the truth. But I just mean the way people get dropped.
You know what I'm saying?
The way people get punched and dropped on their neck, I would consider that fighting. It's just not, Yeah. But yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying, WWE, they was like, and they had crazy. They had crazy people watching. So
yeah, they did. A lot of people that was watching boxing and MMA was tuned in to WWE. So I know Dana White was looking at that like, I cannot sit up here and be idle. I have to put on a fight card. So he was trying, man. He tried to go over there on the Indian reservation and put on a PPV card. The shit fell through because the governor shut it down. But I like what he did. He improvised, and he was able to go over there and go down to Florida first. Then he went from Florida to Las Vegas, and then from Las Vegas out to Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. And I'll say, damn, he's making some moves. And then I'm looking at boxing. Boxing's been around longer, D. You know what I'm saying? Boxing's been around longer. So why did they not have a contingent plan for a moment like this so they can continue to flourish and these boxers can eat? That's all I'm saying. It would have been good if boxing had a contingent plan, but they didn't. So the UFC, who basically was regulated back in '93, I believe, boxing's been around longer than that. So when it comes down to boxers going out here, they barely making it. They're not getting paid. It's nowhere for them to fight. Now it gets jump started, and the cars are super light. I mean, the cars are super light. You put on 6 fights, and then maybe 5. I think 5 freaking cards are televised, if that. It depends, but they're super light, right? So I'm not going to sit up here and complain when the PBC, who hasn't been on deck, and people have been reporting on it, they've been talking about it. What happened to PBC? Where's Showtime? Where's the Zone? Where's Golden Boy? You're going to get it. The lineup is out. You cannot complain on what the card is looking like, because we're only talking about 2 cards off their entire lineup that they just put out. 2 cards being PPV. That's not too much to ask. I mean, look, a lot of people was up here talking about Gervonta Davis when he came down here to the A to face Yukis Gamboa. That ain't PPV. Ain't hell no. That shouldn't be PPV. It went on. It happened. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta got paid, Gamboa got paid, and everybody went about their business. So now we get broken down by COVID-19, and we're in the revival stages right now. And they come back with 2 PPV cards with the Charlo brothers, and then the other one with Tank and Leo Santa Cruz. You can't say it's absurdity. You cannot say that. You have to look at these promotions have took a huge hit. The boxers have taken a huge hit, and I don't blame them for trying to get their money the best way they possibly can. That's just me. The sport doesn't have a retirement plan. It's not. I don't care what nobody's saying. Like, people sit up here and say, well, PBC fighters are getting paid. They're able to go on and provide for their family. We don't know that. I know some of these fighters probably have enough money to survive, but you're trying to tell me every PBC fighter is receiving a check? You cannot sit up here and convince me of such. So therefore, if they want to come out the gate a little bit late now, and they want to put on 2 pay-per-views of solid, notable names in the sport of boxing, those names being the Charlo brothers, those names being Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. Come on, man. Come on. We know Jason Rosario and Sergey Derevyanchenko is still sitting. You know, they trying to build it up. You know what I'm saying? But the Charlo brothers, people know who the Charlo brothers are. They know who the twins are. And then they know who Gervonta Tank Davis is. They know who Leo Santa Cruz is. Multiple division champion Leo Santa Cruz, man. Multiple division champion Gervonta Davis. So therefore, I don't blame PBC for coming out this motherfucker and say, you know what? I want to put on 2 pay-per-views. Why not? They don't care about the fans. They don't care about, okay, well, unemployment, the extra $600 is going to be terminated real soon. So guess what? We're going to really take in consideration the livelihood of the fans. The fans is out there tuning in, the supporters of boxing. No one cares about that consensus. The only thing that they freaking care about, people, is the numbers. They want to put fights together to get it jump started just good enough to make some money. They're not going out here trying to put on mega fights, because those mega fights have to get mega bucks. Those mega fights have to get mega bucks, y'all. That's all I'm saying, man. Coco One in the building. Salute to you. Thanks for stopping through, Coco. But yeah, this is what it is. You know, I invited H Money on because we don't agree on probably 70 or 80% when it comes to boxing. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter because we done had these discussions before. It's not hate, it's not discontent. I'm not out here trying. I know my depth of boxing, he knows his depth of boxing. We ain't gonna agree on shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not the way it's supposed to be. So I appreciate everyone who stopped through early and tuned in. I did want to talk on Redkach, right? Redkach, he had a sparring session with Gervonta Davis. And, you know, look, I always look at it this way, like they have a code in boxing gyms about sparring. A lot of the time, they don't want you to record sparring if you're media. And I understand, but certain sparring is good in a sense just to give the fans a view on how it is inside the walls of a gym, right? So therefore, I look at Gervonta Davis, and that's the first time. We know we don't seen Gervonta sparring out here before. We've seen this shit before. It exists. Why people think that sparring shouldn't be freaking filmed forever and a day is beneath me. But right now, during the pandemic, the fans who's gonna pay to come see you fight, they want to know a little bit more about you. You know, especially if they casual boxing fans. So when Gervonta Davis was up there, and shout out to LES News, man. He was able to get on video a sparring session with Gervonta Davis and Ivan Redkach, I believe. And he was sending them. Seriously. He was sending some live, as we call it, live fire in the military. He was sending rounds down range on some live fire to Redkach, who was not handling the impact well. And I'm telling you, he was on wobbly legs. And I was like, damn, I thought to myself, why is this being put out to the public? Like Redkach, he's still active, a fighter. He's still trying to get some big fights. Like, why the fuck would you allow Gervonta Davis to get in your ass like that? And it's being videoed. And this was in the gym of Buddy McGirt. And for what my understanding was that they said, hey, Buddy, you know, you're not going to stop this. And Buddy was like, that ain't my fighter. I mean, I was puzzled all the way around because Buddy was like telling Maxim Dedashev, Max, I got to take you out. You know what I'm saying? And Max ended up dying, which the two don't have anything to do with it. But for him to be in his own gym and not have a concern to basically savage Redkach sparring session and say, hey, that's enough. For the good of boxing, that's enough. I got to shut that shit down. I got to shut it down. Because Gervonta's still active in the sport and Redkach. But for Redkach to go in there and get his ass beat like that, wobbled, and then Tank walks away from him. Tank really let him off. Like, I know a lot of people is going to say, man, you know, Tank an asshole. He shouldn't have did the guy like that. But if you really look at it, in my mindset, I look at it like this. He didn't wait till the guy was face down on the canvas. Tank turned and walked away and allowed the guy to live. I believe if Tank would have went to the body and then went up top again, he would have did some serious damage to Redkach to the point where he would have been laid out. And the video would have been much more detrimental to Redkach's career if he would have been on the canvas than Tank just turned his back on him, walking out and calling it a day. I think at that moment, you know, Tank did him a justice and said, fuck it, man. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to let this cat live, man. I'm going to get out the ring. I already done punished him enough. You know, it's good for video. I'm just curious as to how did they record some sparring like that? Like, who authorized that shit? I know some sparring gets recorded, but who authorized that whooping? Because when it comes time for Redkach to get another fight, they gonna look at the motherfucking sparring session. that's out there for public record. What the fuck is going on, man? Like, are you a millionaire, Redkach? Do you not need the sport of boxing? Who was with you at that point to approve you to go in there and spar one of the heaviest punchers in boxing and get your ass handed to you? That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, you know, since it, well, hmm? How you doing, Chad? I guess I have to hold y'all down for a small second till we come back. So, salute to MMA champ, bro. Salute to Coco, bro. Salute to Denise, Miss Denise in the building. Salute to H Money in the building. Salute to all y'all. So, I don't know how to ask a question. I'll answer it. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Okay. I don't know how to hold
I'll just say I don't know how to ask a question.
I don't. I really don't. I swear to God, bro. I only know how to answer them. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know what to ask people. But if you ask me a question, I can definitely answer it. I'm just not good.
That's why I don't got serious, bro. It's all.
Yeah, that's why I don't got it. Believe me, if I could ask questions, I'll have a channel. But I can't ask questions, so my channel will be boring. So I just participate in y'all's.
It's all good, man. Let me see. Junior said you have great knowledge boxing. Appreciate your time. I appreciate Junior for stopping through, man. Salute to you. Appreciate that. Danny, what's good? He said, "What's up, y'all?" As I was saying earlier, right? I've been to a lot of gyms, as in, you know, a lot of other media people. I mean, I've seen a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot that goes on in gym. Like if my lens could have been mongering around, you know, authorized, it would be some great footage. I mean, I'm talking about, I think sparring sessions in the future would be more accessible to the general public. I do believe that. A lot is changing with the sport of boxing. It's going to take a boxer a lot more to be noticeable because the sport is changing due to, you know, the regulations that are going to be put on the gatherings of crowds showing up to see people in person. I think we're going to get back around to it, but I don't think it'll be nowhere close to how free we was to go up here and congregate and see a boxing match. So therefore, I think when it comes down to it, I think in the future, man, you know, sparring, training, all that's going to be a little bit more accessible to the fans to a point. Because just look at what Ryan Garcia is doing. Ryan Garcia really doesn't put out sparring, but he puts out videos of him doing speed drills and doing the body shots and everything. And I don't know if you check the views on that shit, but it do pretty solid numbers, man. I ain't gonna lie. It'll be good if a lot of boxers went up here and put a video out periodically as them doing something with boxing outside of them dressing in the new gear, the new tennis shoes, and all this other shit. People want to come see what you are about boxing. They want to see what you're about being a boxer. This shit Redkach did with Tank Davis, he must have felt some type of way about it, because I guess he sent a tweet out and he told Leo Santa Cruz to beat Gervonta's fat ass. And, you know, he can think Gervonta's fat all he wants. But one thing I tell people all the time, And H Money said that was my boy. It's not my boy. You know, it's easy for people to say that a certain fighter that you support, especially if they black, that's your boy. But what I'm trying to get at is that Redkach, he said, go in there and whoop his fat ass, and he's feeling some type of way about that sparring. But like I tell people, Tank Davis may balloon up and weight a little bit in between his fights, but what I can tell you, when he go in that ring and compete, dude, you need to link up. You need to associate all his amateur pedigree, and you need to really take a look at how he goes in there and go on the hunt. Gervonta Davis is a beast, man. He's a savage. And I'm not just saying that because I've seen him fight. I'm saying if you really take a close look at his expression, the way he go in there and remain unpredictable, the way he boxes, his thought process and how he changes up his offense, he has decent look. He has good defense, y'all. A lot of people don't even think about Gervonta Davis' defense, but he has damn good, solid defense, yo. You have to understand, like, this dude can box and he has power. He has motherfucking power, man. And people are going to have to damn respect that one way or the other. You're going to have to respect it. But Redkach, he may be feeling some type of way because Gervonta got the best of him. But the one thing that was puzzling to me is how can the lens be active on the sparring session that was that intense, that was one way? Like Redkach, let me look this dude up right quick. Ivan Redkach, man, he still has a career. That shit looked bad. At this point in his career, in my opinion, it looks very bad for him. That's all I'm saying. And Redkach is 34 years old already. He's 23-5, 18 KOs. And you know, his last opponent was lost to Danny Garcia, unanimous decision. Now, if you take that UD he had with Danny Garcia, who can punch. Look where I'm going with this. Danny Garcia can punch. He has pretty decent power. And Redkach went the distance with him, right? But the situation that Tank Davis had him in sparring with headgear, he had him on wobbly legs. Now, of course, that was January when he faced Danny Garcia. I don't know what type of shape Redkach was in. I'm not here to make fucking excuses for the dude. But I know you went the distance with Danny Garcia, but yet you was on wobbly legs with a lightweight. Danny Garcia is competing in 147 right now, welterweight. That's all I'm saying, man. This sparring shit is different for each location. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And he's suspended. And another crazy thing about it, just paying attention to detail, right? He's suspended until the 25th of this month. But yet he's out here getting rocked. He's suspended by the New York State Athletic Commission. But he's out here in sparring getting rocked by Gervonta Davis, which you know damn well Gervonta can fight. I mean, his KO, his punching power is serious. But anyway, that's him. Moving on.
I really don't worry about sparring, dude. A lot of people up in sparring, and then when it came time for the real fight, went in there and got knocked out. Like, sparring means nothing because you got headgear. Now, if you said the way you said it, now if it was a real fight with no protection, he probably might have killed Redkach. Because if he did that with head equipment and body equipment, he probably would have killed him. So, you know, sparring is nothing. Anybody losing sparring. Sparring is where you try new things. And it's kind of like, it's hard because you bring in a certain person to try to fight a style like a certain person. To me, that shit's impossible. There is no way two people fight alike. People crack me up when they crack me up when they say that shit like, I brought him in so I could see. He don't know what this guy's gonna do when he become messed up. He can't demonstrate when he's in trouble. Like, sparring means nothing. Sparring is just to keep you in shape. You can't bring in nobody That's the stupidest statement ever. You could bring in somebody to spar. Nobody fights the same. They might have the same characteristics, but when you get in that ring, that fighter you're fighting is way different from the one you sparred. So I don't go by sparring. I go by what y'all do when y'all get in that real fight. Sparring means nothing.
Sparring to me means something. That shit get brutal.
No,
D.
not like that. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying, as if somebody beat you in sparring, that don't mean they're gonna beat you in the real fight. That's what I'm saying. Don't, because Redkach, he still got wins. He might have got beat by Tank in sparring, but he'll probably get beat worse in real life. But you can't disqualify nobody from a sparring match, because if I disqualify people, I sit up here all night and talk about people that get disqualified from getting beat up in sparring. So
and I also look at it this way too. We don't know how long when that clip was actually being shown. We don't know how long they was actually in that sparring session. You know what I'm saying? Like how many rounds was that? You know, what they did, what happened before that? Because I know Richard Hitchens, he was also there sparring another guy. But I'm not really putting too much emphasis on how to put it. I'm not putting too much emphasis on the sparring, because fighters get sparring in all the time. I'm just looking at who he was in there with and the way he looked in there with the lightweight like Tank Davis on wobbly legs, and he still has a career. And, you know, looking at his record, he's coming off a loss with Danny Garcia, and he's suspended by the New York Athletic Commission until 25th of this month. So you shouldn't be in the ring and sparring, getting wobbled like that when you still have fights coming up. That's all. But I understand your point though, bro. I get it. Chain TC say he's a naturally gifted, but I guess you were saying dedicated. Danny the Great say Tank is a savage. He's a naturally gifted but undedicated. Dan the Great said, D Hodge is speaking nonsense, bro. Chain, you lost the debate, bro. No, I won, but what were we debating? I want to make sure you're not the fake one.
Yeah, I just want to know, whoever you're putting in the comment, what am I talking nonsense about? So far, I asked anybody this panel, I haven't said nothing that's nonsense. Let me know what I said that's nonsense.
You know, the live chat, they turn up every now and then. It depends on what type of boxing fans you got in the live chat, man. How closely they follow the sport. That's all. I don't know. Hey, let me see. Who made that comment? Let me see. Danny the Great, what you meant by that when you said that about D Hodge speaking nonsense? What you mean? Gray has a clone that came to H Money account yesterday. Oh, okay. I got you. So basically it might be a person just out here trolling.
I'm about to say, because I'm not speaking nonsense about sparring, it don't mean nothing. If he's talking about that, sparring is nothing. You do good in sparring, going in and get knocked out. You do all them rounds of sparring and get knocked out in 30 seconds. So it happened the other night, dude, with the quick old knockout. I forgot who it was, but I picked my beer up to take a sip, and by the time I put it down, dude was on the ground. He knocked him out, and the dude who got all the knockouts in a row, the next person that was on fighting on ESPN on Tuesday, and he has all knockouts in a row. What's his name, bro?
You're talking about Edgar. You're talking about Edgar, right? Belanga?
Yeah. Gonzalez. Edgar Gonzalez.
14 knockouts.
Yeah, he's 14 knockout, and he knocked that man out in like 20-something seconds. Like, I mean, it was mad quick. I'm like, yo, he got 14 first round knockouts. I correct myself. The dude with the 14 is now 14 first round knockouts. He fought Tuesday on ESPN.
Yeah, Edgar Belanga, man, is somebody to keep an eye on. Also on that card was Elvis Rodriguez, I think he improved his record to 8-0 and 8 knockouts. But you know, the one highlight, of course, for Berlanga is the fact that all his fights has been stopped in the first freaking round, man. That's damn that's impressive. Even though he's building up his resume, it's impressive. I was hoping Eric Moon take him out of the first round.
And it's the way he did it because he slapped his hand down and he came with the other hand. Like, I don't know how he did it, but dude was blocking and he slapped, like somehow he punched him, but slapped it down and then punched him again.
Yeah, he just opened the guard up. Eric Moon had a high guard. He opened the guard up with the left hand.
That was perfect. When I seen it, bro, I'm like, wow. When they showed the replay, I didn't see the actual. When I caught the replay, I said, wow, he moved his head and punched him. But the other good one was the one with the dude that got the straight left. Oh my God, that was the ugliest straight left I seen. Ah man. See, I don't really know these new boxers. I know all the old and famous people. I don't know the up and coming, but the dude, I forgot his name. I think Gonzalez. I think he caught
Gonzalez.
I think it was somebody that got caught. He hit the dude straight down the pipe. Like dude had his block.
Oh, you talking about Elvis
Rodriguez, yeah, that was crazy though. That was just a straight left. That dude was like, and he was still down. Like referee wasn't even giving 10 counts that night. People were getting knocked out in my line. I think 2 or 3 fights they didn't even count. They just said it's over. Yo, that was a great card though, for real. I don't know who they are. I don't know who's good and who's a bum, but in my opinion, that was a great card. And then Valdez, he did what he's supposed to do. So you know what I'm saying? That was a great card in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it. I just thought, I was hoping my boy Eric Moon do a little bit better than what he did, but he didn't. But it's boxing, man. So yeah, Redkach, he'll recover from that. I'm pretty sure he'll recover from that. But I wanted to touch on one other thing before I get the heck up out of here. What was it? Oh, Oscar Valdez. I wanted to give a shout out to Oscar Valdez, man, who's the main event. He went in there and defeated Jason Velez. And, he worked. I like what I seen with Valdez. Continue to put in that work, set up his punch combinations to the point where later on in the fight, he made adjustments. He saw what was affecting Velez, and he stuck to the game plan. And he ended up stopping him, man. He ended up stopping him. And I was like, damn. He basically made the adjustment. He knew the body shots was hurting Velez. And he ended up getting a stoppage. And from my understanding, Velez has never been stopped before. So, him being at super featherweight, being able to go in there and get the stoppage, man, is huge for Oscar Valdez. It's huge for the fight that he wants. He wants Miguel Berchelt. And I want to see that fight, man. I definitely want to see that fight. Seriously. I like what I've seen with the adjustments that Valdez was able to make. Moving up in weight. I liked it, man. I like that he was in there for that long. And he stuck to the game plan. He made changes. And he started digging to the body hard. And he saw that the shots was freezing up Velez just a little bit. And, he probably see it more than we do looking at the screen. But it worked out perfect for him, man. He ended up getting a stoppage. Let me see. Trying to look through this right quick. And that point deduction that these referees was given the other night without a stern warning, I don't know what that was about. What the fuck was going on? Are they trying to meet quota? Like, what the fuck was that about? Like, they wasn't really giving stern warnings repetitively. They was just taking points off the first offense, man. Let me see. I don't see what I was looking for. Let me see. Yeah, but I like what I've seen from Valdez, man. Fighting at 130. He looks strong, and he was the first one to stop Jason Velez, man. That's a big statement he made, you know. And the telecast for that night peaked at 471 viewers. You know, average 399K. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The main event, Oscar Valdez. Had to give it up to him. Salute for putting on a damn good show. And they have some other cards that's coming up. You know, Chris Colbert, Arboleda, Jaime Arboleda. You know, they're going to be fighting November 28th. Let me put this up for a second. For those of you that's tuning in, I want to pull up this fight card right quick. So, of course, we got Stephen Fuller. You got Stephen Fuller, 18-0, 8 knockouts. He will be stepping on deck August 1st, which is right around the corner. Next week, he's going in there against Angelo Leo, 19-9 knockouts. So the knockout ratio is pretty leveled, and the experience is pretty level. Leo is, just one victory above Stephen Fuller. But hey, guess what? Stephen Fuller, man, this is gonna be a good fight. He's been lingering around out there. He's a solid fighter, man. His alias is Cool Boy Steph, so I'm looking forward to see him when he gets back in there. It's been a minute. David Benavidez, man, the hype is real. You know, he's one of the youngest champions on deck at that time. You know, was able to get his WBC belt back after his drug suspension, but he's due to step back in August 15th against Alexis Angulo. David Benavidez records 23-0, 19 knockouts, and Angulo is 26-1, 22 knockouts. Looking forward to that. September 19th, Erickson Lubin, 22-1, 16 KOs. His only loss is against Jamal Charlo. He's back in there against Terrell Gasha, 21-1, 10 KOs. Damn near identical records a little bit, just 6 knockouts less than Erickson Lubin. But I look forward to that fight. He was in there with Nathaniel Gallimore on last minute replacement. He ended up earning the victory. He went the distance and earned the victory. So with a fight camp this time, I'm looking forward to see what both of these fighters going to put out, especially Lubin. And of course, September 26th, you have the Charlo brothers. Jamal Charlo at 160 is facing Sergey Derevyanchenko, and Jamel Charlo at 154 is facing Jason Rosario, the unified championship at junior middleweight. Next, October 10th is Sergey Lipinets against Horarov, Abdul Kororov. He's 15-0, 8 KOs to Lipinets, 16-1, 12 KOs. That should be a very interesting fight, man. I like seeing Sergey Lipinets contend. Very tough dude. October 24th is when we'll see Gervonta Davis back in the square. Undefeated, 23-0, 22 knockouts. And he's in there with Leo Santa Cruz, 37-1, 19 knockouts. That's going to be a solid fight between them. very established in the sport of boxing. Of course, Leo Santa Cruz has more experience, but when it comes to boxing, you know, both of them will match up very well in that fight. We have Mr. Primetime himself, Chris Colbert, 14-0, 5 KOs. He's back in there November 28th versus Jaime Arboleda, 16-1, 13 knockouts. And then the last one on the list is December 12th. You have the WBC bantamweight champion Nordine Bali going in there against former champion for the unified titles, taking a loss against Naoya Inoue, aka Monster. He lost against Inoue. Now they automatically change him over to the WBC side, and he gets a title shot against Nordine Bali, man. And we all know that Nonito Donaire is up in age, but he is still a threat. He's still a threat. He looks solid in there. He went the distance with Inoue, and he steps in there December 12th with a record of 40-6, 26 knockouts against Nordine Bali, 17-0, 12 knockouts. That's what PBC has in store for the fight fans, starting August 1st to December 12th to close out the second semester of the calendar year. And hey, it's some good matchups from what we're seeing right here. But we don't know what the undercards. We don't know what the UC look like. We need to know what the UC look like. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot to be explained with that UC. So people, I appreciate everyone who stopped through. Of course, that's all I have on this particular fight card. Salute the PBC, Showtime, finally getting back on the, getting back on the road, building traction with some top names out there. But like I said before, we really want to see the UC of all these events right here and see how they match up. Of course, the top ranked cards has been out here for a minute. But for those of you that tuned in to World Combat Sports, I appreciate it. Share the content. Those of you that hit the like button while you was in the building, appreciate it. Salute for all y'all support. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and pass the word. Any last words you got, Hodges? Because I'm out.
Yeah, I just want to say salute to the panel. You know, LDBC all day, baby. You know how we roll, know what I'm saying? Glad I could entertain y'all, and I'm going to keep on still trying to keep y'all entertained and funny, and I love your show, World Combat. You have a good day, and LDB, salute to the chat. Y'all have a good night. See you again, bro.
And for those of you that was in the chat, appreciate you for stopping through. Everyone who was in here earlier, make sure you go subscribe to Everything Boxing. Make sure you check out H Money the Zone. Appreciate the donations of Ohio Run Boxing. Go check out those individuals, man. And we look forward to bringing you some more boxing commentary, man. That's what it's all about. I'm trying to, I'm still in the process of uploading some videos from being down there in Pensacola. I had a situation with my cameras being in the heat too much. Man, it was freaking hot as shit down there. It was Africa hot down that month. So unfortunately, man, I had a situation. I don't even want to talk about it. I had a damn malfunction with one of my cameras to the point where trying to retrieve some of my video footage. Anyway, it's been fixed now. But yeah, salute to everyone who stopped through. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't passed the word, do so. Until next time, man. Salute to you.